What up, everybody?
Hi, all.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Happy to have all of you here in the chat at this moment.
At this moment, we're happy.
At this very
Right
moment,
now.
you guys are here, and
If you
I'm
act up,
so glad.
I might not be happy.
Yeah, we'll turn this car around.
Yeah, I'll turn this stream around real fast.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, normally on Wednesdays we do interviews, and this week we actually had planned to do an interview with Ryan J. of the Roxy Gun Project, but Roxy forgot that her and Chris had a gig on Wednesday, so she was super bummed that she was going to not be able to be here for her own dad's interview about like really cool spooky stuff that she's never really heard him talk about.
Yeah.
So I made the judgment call, was like, let's just reschedule Ryan J when Roxy can be here, and we'll figure out something.
We'll figure something out.
We figured it out.
Yeah, we did.
We figured we'll do a special episode tonight
Look at this.
based on traveling. Me and Dusty are both huge travelers, and we have seen a lot of shit, been a bunch of weird places.
I've seen a lot of shit.
We saw a lot of weird shit, so, we figured it might be a cool time for you guys in the chat to get to know us a little better, too. And you can ask us any questions that you want or whatever, but we can kind of share some of the fun stuff that we have done that we love so much.
Yeah.
And
We got stories to share.
we got stories, and if you guys have traveling stories too, like, I would love to hear
Totally.
them as well.
We got questions. We got some new updates. We got channel point redemptions added in there. So if you hit your little channel points, there's things you can do now. Ooh, that's
And
fun.
That is super fun. A lot of you guys have been in here for quite some time, so you guys probably have a lot of points right now.
Probably.
So,
Don't spend them all at the same time.
but we were trying to think of some kind of fun redemptions that we could do. So we got a couple in there. So you guys, if you feel so inclined, please click on the little channel points, and we could do some fun things at any point today.
At any point.
Mhm.
Whenever.
And subscriber icons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys happen to notice, but we got subscriber icons. Dusty's got one.
We got ghosts.
We got ghosts. And Steve Scott has a little ghost right now. And that's freaking awesome. Did you just subscribe, Steve? Because it looked like before you didn't have a ghost, and now you have a ghost. So if you did
What?
subscribe, I did not see it in the chat. I didn't see it pop up, but
No.
hell yeah, if you did, rock on.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
That's weird. It didn't pop up.
Yeah, we
Normally it
didn't.
says in the chat that somebody subscribed.
Maybe
Or
we
it
just
pops
missed it.
up. I
missed it.
don't know. Maybe we missed it, but I'm so grateful. That's awesome. Now you got a little ghost. Yay.
Yeah, now you're scary. That's fun.
Yay.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what would be like the perfect icon. And I think since a lot of things end up coming back to ghost stories with us, one way or another. We always love to hear people's spooky stories. We thought a little ghost was appropriate. But we'll put some in later when Dusty has time to adjust them and everything. So maybe we'll have different ones for like the 3 months and 5 months or whatever. You might all of a sudden get a jack-o'-lantern or something, or a
That'll
bat.
get better.
You never know. It's going to be fun.
Bigfoot.
But we're expanding. We're expanding right now.
Yeah.
So
totally.
that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, you're super scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Get out of my brain.
I can't. It's impossible.
It's true. It's so big. It just encompasses everyone.
Yeah. And since Roxy is not here as our chat bod, it's pretty much just us. So everybody has to be
Just us.
good today.
Tavia's in here.
Everybody has
She's
to be nice.
watching.
Oh yeah, Tavia, you're here.
Tavia will
Hey.
silently ban all of you.
Poor Tavia's not feeling so good today. She got oral surgery yesterday, so she's feeling
bumming.
a little rough. So we love her, and if you are listening, that's fantastic. And if not, it's okay. Just
And
rest
if you
up.
need water, yell at us.
Yes, you
I'll
can
bring you
still
water.
message us at any point if you need anything, and one of us will go bring you medicine or
Somebody
food
will
or
go.
whatever. Poor thing. It was pretty rough for her. So perfect icon: Bigfoot riding the Loch Ness monster being beamed up by a UFO. Now you are
we're talking.
correct about that,
That is
sir.
the
I
perfect
feel like
icon.
that is fantastic.
It's gonna be hard to fit that in that tiny little square,
I know, right?
but it's gonna be good.
That's true.
What's on your icon? If you don't know.
It's like every spooky thing that's ever existed.
Yeah, everything. Everything's in
So,
there.
oh well,
Yeah.
we shall see. But for now, we've got little ghosts, and I think it's super super cute.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm glad that you guys are here today. Sorry we did start a little bit late today, but it's okay because you guys are here right now. We're here right now. Everything's good. Everybody wins. Did you guys know that the Perseid meteor shower is peaking tonight? For
it's
any of you
peaking.
guys, it's peaking, man.
It's peaking so
It's the
hard.
biggest one of the year. So if any of you guys feel so inclined, you want to go look at some dark skies, you might see a reasonable amount of meteors tonight. So
Totally.
just want to let everybody know in case you missed it. Because you know what? Normally I'm on top of that shit, and somehow I just totally missed it. And a friend of mine was like, "Oh, it's the Perseids tonight. I'm going out." I was like, "Oh shit!" So I might end up going on a journey after this.
Oh, Steve, you got too much light pollution.
Aww.
That's a bummer.
I gotta go on a drive.
Yep. We have so much dark sky right around us. You just have to point away from Seattle and drive
Yeah.
that direction.
Gold Creek Pond is a pretty cool spot. Even just the parking lot, like it's not a very long walk to get to the actual pond, but it's super dark. But even just in the parking lot, like it's a pretty cool spot. It's pretty dark and it's not too far. It's like an hour-ish outside of Seattle. So,
True.
you know, if you're willing to make the journey. And I have a convertible, so it's awesome. So I can just pop the convertible top down and lean the seat back. I can put like seat warmer on.
Oh, yeah.
And get
That's
some
the way to
tunes
stargaze is with
going.
the top down and a seat warmer. That's how you stargaze.
It is. It's pretty awesome. I dig that.
Yeah, Whitney, hopefully you can see. That'd be cool. I know we can see some from our patio. If you're facing away from the city lights, you can see some stuff. I mean, you can see satellites all over the place, so surely you can see a shooting
True.
star.
Yeah, we might be able to get to see some.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see those big fat fireballs, you know. I
Yeah.
would always love to see that.
Those you can see from anywhere.
I know.
I saw one in the daytime one time. It was crazy. I saw a fireball in the daytime. It was so bright.
Whoa.
I was driving back home from work in Colorado, and like just rolling around, spaced out on the road, and all of a sudden this big fireball just shoots like straight through my field of vision, like on my windshield. It was just like, and, like shot across, almost like that
crazy.
the Russian one that
Oh,
was
yeah.
caught on all the dash cams.
That blew out everybody's windows and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It wasn't that big. I still had windows.
That was
but,
crazy.
But it was cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you still had windows. That is good. But yeah, that Russian one, that was like a shockwave that fucked a lot of shit up. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was intense.
Surprise!
Surprise. Yeah. Rough.
You never know.
You never know.
Never freaking know when stuff like that's coming.
Yeah.
Spooky.
So I've got 3 fireballs so far that I've seen. 3, 4.
That's pretty reasonable
I think
amount.
it's 3. I got 3 fireballs.
Either way, that's pretty good.
I feel stoked.
I know. I'm stoked too. I was so sad that I missed a really good one when me and Tavia were actually at the Gold Creek Pond parking lot. And I was looking at her and we were talking and it was behind my fucking head. And she caught a purple fireball.
Wow.
And I missed it. And I was so fucking sad.
That sucks.
And I kept missing shooting stars when I was talking to her, but that was like the big one. I was like, okay, whatever direction you're looking is the direction I'm looking.
Yeah.
Because she keeps catching shit.
Yeah.
And I keep missing it. I totally lose the shooting star game with her. I think too because my eyes are not good.
Yeah.
That she's able to see more faint ones that I'm not able to see. So she's always like, "Oh, there's one." I'm like, "I'm looking. I didn't even fucking see it. Like, how did you see that?" So I just think my eyes are just shitty. So if it's like really bright, I can see it.
Yeah.
But some of the little guys, I got nothing.
Can't see the blue guys.
And it sucks. Yeah, it's too bad. But so yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome though for those of you that do actually go out and see that. I think that's gonna be fucking fantastic. So I might do it. We'll see.
Okay.
But
I'm not. I'm with Steve. I'm going to bed. I have to work tomorrow too.
you know, I'm always down for an adventure. Like even if it's late at awkward times, I'm usually, very rarely am I like, I just don't feel like it right now. Like I'm pretty always down for an adventure, which makes sense why we are such avid travelers.
Yes.
Because I'm always ready to go. 4 a.m. Oh wow, really?
Yeah, 4 a.m. comes too early.
Dang.
That's still considered late for us. That's not.
Oh, I'm
early
I'm
yet.
awake at 4 a.m. every fucking day.
Yeah.
Do you just wake up at 4, or do you have to be at work at 4? Because that is way too early.
Yeah, I'd be in bed right now.
I know, seriously.
So thank you for staying up so late. To hang
For
out
real,
with
no, that
us.
makes sense why you have to bail out sometimes during
Yeah,
our show, for sure.
definitely.
Man, that was pretty rough. Usually wake up at 3:45. Oh man.
No.
I hope you love your job a lot. Because I couldn't do it. I am always awake at that time.
That's rough.
We work at 5. Holy crap. Well, I hope you enjoy your job.
Well,
So
it's worth
you
it.
go in and you actually enjoy what it is that you're doing, rather than drudging along and having to get there that early and just hating your life. That would suck.
Yeah.
My preferred in time for my jobs is like 5 p.m. I'm a night worker, so around 4. I can do 4 p.m. We're okay, but 4 or 5 p.m. I'm golden.
Yeah.
Good to go. And then I will work forever. Like, I will work until 4 a.m. I have no problem doing that. I will work as late as possible. It's totally fine, but can't do early, man. I can't do it.
Yeah. I just don't like an alarm telling me that I have to wake up.
I know. I still have to set an alarm even if I work at 4,
Yeah.
just to make sure.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, because sometimes, like, just sleep through it. I don't want to stress about it, but I prefer to not have to have an alarm. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I think I would be more stressed. I don't think I'd get very restful sleep because I'd be worried that I wouldn't wake up on time,
Mm-hmm.
Even though for some reason I wake up before alarms a lot of times anyway. Like, it's weird. I have
I
a
hate when I do that.
really distinct internal
I don't
clock. What? 34 years and 5 years to go. What does that mean? 34
5 years. So he's
34
gonna-
years in.
Yeah, 34
5
years
years
in,
to
5
go.
years to go.
Okay, I got it. Wow, 34 years.
5 years to what? What do you get in 5 years?
Retirement, I bet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking away
Oh.
from that. That's
Sick.
wow. That's awesome. Well,
Okay.
good. 5 more years, and then you get to just kick it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Kick it.
Yeah. But yeah, so just being adventurous by nature.
Oh, here's a good segue.
Already.
When you retire, where are you going?
Yep.
How about that? Bring it around to travel. Did that work?
Yeah. Where would you like to go?
Hi, Tavia.
Hi, Tavia. My little sweet friend.
Yeah, not to work. Amen to
Yeah.
that.
that is fair.
Anywhere but work.
That is totally fair.
Yeah.
So as far as us, like, being the adventurous people that we are, and always up for some kind of adventure, when we first met each other, I had very seldomly left the country. I had been to Costa Rica, and I had been to, like, Tijuana, but I hadn't been anywhere else. Actually, did I go to Vancouver? I'd been to Vancouver, Canada.
Oh.
So I went to border towns, Mexico and Canada, but the only, like, actual, like, international thing that I had ever done was Costa Rica, which was super fun. But when we met, he had these huge dreams and wanted to travel all over the place, which was something amazing that bonded us because we both wanted to travel the most. Like, that's our life goal, is to travel and see as much of the world as possible. So we tried to figure out, like, how we gonna do this? How
does
could
that
we
happen?
make this happen?
Yeah.
And you just got a passport this year. Cool.
Oh, sick.
That's awesome.
Good job. Time to put it to use.
Okay, and like Canada and Mexico, which is still cool. But man, this world is so
More than I
big,
had
and there's
done.
so much crazy shit out there. I'd always had this, like, blank in my mind where it's like London or England. Like, what is it like? Like, I had this hard time really, like, wrapping my head around what it would be like to be in such a foreign land.
Yeah.
And now that we've been there, like, okay, so it's same kind of shit, just different
Just
environment. But before, it just seemed like it was so foreign that it was hard for me to even imagine
Yeah.
what it would be like. And we had all
Yeah.
these, like, dreams and aspirations of places we wanted to go.
I want to see everything.
Everything.
Yeah. And yeah, I didn't really know what to expect from anywhere. Like, I mean, you don't know, like, what the people are going to be like. You're just used to what you're surrounded by. And I'd never been outside of the country at all. And I knew, like, each state is different. Like, the people from each state are different. But generally what's going on in all the states is about the same. They're all the same. But once you get outside of a U.S. mindset, like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? You see all these pictures of people living out in the, like, boonies days in some other country in like the the outback in Australia, and you're like, wow, like that. I don't even have a reference for that.
Yeah,
like what that
no
would be like.
reference whatsoever.
But yeah, and I think one of the things that I really wanted was the culture shock. Like, I wanted to be thrown out of my element and just like, who knows where we're going? What's it gonna be like? And that was something I always looked forward to. And everybody was like, I guess my family was more not scared.
Apprehensive?
Apprehensive. That's good. Yeah, apprehensive about getting into places where they didn't understand the people and like what was going on. Like it was just kind of a little bit of a fear. But I was always like, that's exactly where I want to be. Like I want to be in the middle of what I don't understand. Like I don't understand what's going on. I'm gonna go stand in the middle of it. That's what I want. And
It's learning comes from having to figure it out in that moment.
yeah,
You know, if you just go to places that are just like what you already know, then there's not as much to be learned from that.
yeah,
So picking up and going somewhere completely different with a totally different culture, it's so much fun. And even though like maybe you don't speak the language and you can't communicate in your own language, like you find ways to communicate, and everything is so much more just interesting
yeah.
to me. Like every
mystical
every
and
little
unknown.
thing. Yes, it is mystical and unknown.
Yep.
And the only way to figure out the best you can the unknown is to just go.
Yeah.
Just pick up and get on a plane and go and step out and see what happens.
Like, what do we do now?
So since we both really wanted a really big culture shock, our first trip that we ended up taking was to Japan. Now I will say that our original plan wasn't to go to Japan first. Our original plan, we were living in San Diego together, and I really, really wanted to go to Italy. That was like I just really want to go to Italy so bad. I need to go to Pompeii. I need to do all this stuff. So the plan was we were going to go to Italy for my 30th birthday. And we saved up money. My mom got me like Italy traveling books and the whole thing. We were ready to do it. And then we got an opportunity to move to Colorado unexpectedly, kind of. A friend of mine was in the weed business, and she was like, if you guys can move out here, you could be in a business with me. Like, I want to do baking, and I just want to do like edibles and stuff, and you can make half the money. I'll just split it with you if you just come out here. And we're like, shit, okay, like that's a really, really solid, good opportunity. So unfortunately, we shifted gears, and we're like, okay, well, we can't spend our moving money to go to Italy. So we actually ended up coming up here to Seattle. Dusty had never been to Seattle. That was the first time he came here because Roger Waters was playing the 30th anniversary of The Wall show on my 30th birthday. So I was like, okay, that's a reasonable thing to do for my 30th birthday. That's totally reasonable. My favorite band, Pink Floyd, all time favorite band. Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll just go to Italy in the future. And we were looking into Italy.
Steve was there. Sweet.
Awesome. That's awesome. Sweet.
Oh, I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, that's so awesome. It was such a great show. So good. But so later on, we get married, we do the whole thing. We couldn't do a traditional honeymoon right after because we were moving to Seattle. So we were like, all right, we're just gonna wait, we're gonna get to Seattle, we're gonna get settled, and then we're gonna finally go to Italy. So previously I had looked at tickets to Japan in the past, and they were always extremely expensive. They were like $1,400, $1,200 to $1,400 consistently. And I was like, fuck, that's like so much money. Like, I don't know when we're going to be able to go, but maybe one day we'll be able to go. So I'm looking on Skyscanner, looking at Italy tickets. We're trying to figure it out, and I found tickets to Japan for super cheap.
Yeah, they were real
comparatively.
cheap.
I think they were like $700 or $800
Yeah,
round
I think
trip.
it was just under $800 round trip.
Which afterwards, after the fact, prices went down. We could have got there even cheaper later on. But as far as it goes, like I was like, there are tickets to Japan. Like we can afford to go to Japan. Like I know we're talking about going to Italy, but like I don't know if this is a freak thing. This might be our chance.
Yeah. And we
to
already
go.
had the whole Italy trip planned. Like, everything was already figured out. The only thing we had to do was just book the hotel rooms and buy the plane tickets and go. Like, we already knew where we were going and, like, the sites we were going to. She had done all this research on everything that we wanted to see, and we had the whole thing laid out and ready to go. And when she went on to buy the plane tickets while I was at work, she calls me and is like, hey, I just found tickets to Japan that we can afford. And it's like, but there's a time limit. It was super short. It was like there was only a couple tickets left.
I think we had about 2.5 months. Because we were gonna fly at a specific time or whatever, and it was. I think it was like 2 or 2.5 months out.
Yeah, but as far as buying the tickets, like we had to buy the tickets. We ended up having to buy the tickets that night when I got home from work.
Yeah, because we weren't sure if it was a sale or whatever. Yeah, we were like, fuck. Okay, we have to decide really fast.
And we were watching them go away as we were debating. So we debated for like 2 hours, 3 hours after I got home, and we're like, well, do we just like fuck off all our plans that we've made and just like change gears entirely, or do we do this and just like immediately jump into a Japan trip that we have no idea what we're doing yet or where we're staying or where we're going? We just buy tickets to Tokyo and go.
That's what we did.
Like,
that's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we ended up
So
deciding to do. I was like, okay, well, let's just do it. Okay, I will do all the research and we'll figure it out. I love trip planning. It is so much fun to me. I love the whole experience of taking a million hours and researching everything and figuring out where it is that we want to make sure that we don't miss. So I was like, all right, I'm going into Japan planning gear and also learning some Japanese. Because I was like, well, shit, if I'm going to go to Japan, like, I want to show that I care, that I'm trying. You know, obviously I'm not going to be able to speak fluent Japanese in 2 months, but I knew that if I tried, I could learn enough for me to be able to communicate on a basic level and to show them that I actually really cared enough to try. And I did. I worked really hard. I worked really hard on it.
I didn't. I got nothing.
I know.
Until we got there. I got certain words.
I kept being like, do you want to learn? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, come on. So I'm like, well, I'll start using words around the house, you know? And he was not getting
They're just not going to stick until I have to use them.
At all. And I'm like, all right, well, I got it, you know? So I'll do my best. And once we were there, he started to catch on a little bit and was able to use some of them. But it was really helpful because people had told us for a long time, like, oh, you know, everybody learns English in school out there. So a lot of people speak English. And they don't really at all.
They do not.
They
really know English roughly, but they don't speak it.
Yeah, and this is something that we learned out there because we had been told that everybody takes English in school. At least maybe they're not fluent, but they're able to understand and read a lot of it. And we asked somebody, and we're like, okay, well, what is the deal? We thought that, you know, more people understand English, and the deal is they teach them in school how to read and write and some different, like, grammar and vocabulary stuff. But they're not taught to speak it unless you take some kind of extended English classes or anything like that. Yeah, Whitney remembers I made so many flashcards. I did. I had so many flashcards. But before I went, I was able to knock those flashcards out. It was pretty good. It was awesome.
It's true.
But yeah, they're not taught to speak it, so it's hard for them because they don't know how things are pronounced. They could read reasonably, a lot of them, and they can write things down. They know how the word is spelled and how to write the English characters out, but they don't feel comfortable enough speaking it. So there was a lot of writing.
Yeah.
People would be like, write it down.
Yeah, they'd start looking around for paper and a pad, like paper and a pen, and just be like, and it's like, right, and slide it over like a note.
And it wouldn't be like, you know, like perfect English, but it would be enough to get the point across of what it is that they were trying to say.
Yeah.
So
totally, we got it.
So it was cool, but I liked the fact that I didn't know everything that they were saying. I liked the fact that I had to try harder to understand these things, and the fact that I did learn some very basic Japanese. I was so happy that I got to use that.
Yeah, I think all of it.
You know, I think I used all of it and picked up more little bits while we were there, because sometimes we had to ask some questions, and if I didn't know any Japanese at all, like it still would have been doable, but it would have been a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
So even just knowing like how to say like different kinds of meats, because sometimes I don't know what this is. So rather than me say a whole sentence in Japanese, what kind of meat is this, which I didn't know how to say, I could just list off the different kinds that I knew with like a question at the end, you know?
Yeah.
Be like, toriniku, butaniku, and she'd be like, butaniku. And I'm like, oh, okay. With beef or whatever it is, you know? So I was like, okay, this is good. We're narrowing it down just a little bit, you know? And everybody was so nice and so patient with the little bit that I could say.
Yeah.
It was
Probably
really
were
nice.
also happy whenever you'd say anything in Japanese. They do the whole stereotypical like, oh, like,
they were very happy.
They do that.
Yeah, you could tell they were really glad that I tried at the very least. And you know, I could say like excuse me in Japanese and like hello, thank you, good night, whatever. I could say these little things that at least just showed that I was trying to honor their culture by participating in it the best that I could. And even if you didn't know any, they would still treat you very, very, very kind and work with you for sure. They were really kind people out there. But point is, I tried. I really did my best, and unfortunately, it was so long ago. I lost a lot of that. I think I could probably bring it back pretty quickly.
probably, I'm sure as soon as you saw it, you'd be right there.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I was able to remember more than I thought that I honestly was going to be able to. I was like, this
More
is
than
going
I
to be
got.
so freaking hard, but I have a pretty good memory when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it's not like full-blown like photographic memory, but I can see in my head, so I can like see how words are written out, so it helps me to be able to like pull back that where I'm like, what is that word? And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, there it is.
I think my first phrases that I had to learn were, please, thank you, where's the bathroom? And I had to learn how to order a beer and a whiskey.
Do you remember any of those right now?
I know whiskey was whiskey onogeshimasu, and
Well, that's whiskey, please.
whiskey please,
Mm-hmm.
and then biru was beer,
Yep.
so
That's
biru
it, that's good.
onogeshimasu, and then and kampai. I learned kampai.
Cheers.
Yep.
So
That's
this
one
is
thing.
we can tell what
Yeah.
Dusty's focus is. I need beer, whiskey, please. Cheers.
and the bathroom. After that, I need the bathroom. I don't remember. Wasn't it basically toilet, like toilet?
Yes, you're close.
I want to say like toilet 2 or something like that.
No, toilet is
Toilet.
yeah. Toilet wa toko desu ka? Is where's the bathroom? Yep. Toko desu ka? Is the question.
I did
So,
not.
That's okay.
Forgot all that. But yeah, now that you say that, that's familiar.
Yeah,
I got that.
there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah, one thing I like with
That's
the kampai, the cheers. I've learned cheers, and I think I have 5 or 6 different languages at this point. Kampai, prost, salut. Actually, salut is in Spanish and Greek, which is good. So that's almost 2. And then,
no, Greek is different. Yamas.
oh, you're right, yamas.
Yamas.
Yeah. So yeah, yamas.
The cheese is old and moldy. Yes, totally, dude.
Yes, it is.
Totally.
Yeah, and then slancha. And yeah, I don't know.
That's
I'm
good.
trying to collect cheers.
That's awesome.
That's my collection of
I think
language
that's good.
collection.
And it's so funny because you're not even like a really like big drinker,
No.
but beer, whiskey, cheers. That's like the main shit.
Yeah, my
It's cute.
priorities, and shopping's not my priorities. So
You gotta have something to focus
I
on.
want to be able to get a beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
we
so we started planning out this whole trip, and I think we had, I want to say we had 17 days. I think it was
Yeah.
a 17-day trip,
Yeah.
which was a pretty
That's a pretty good trip.
substantial trip for our first international
Couple weeks.
thing together, and we had to decide how to split that up because obviously Tokyo is that's the spot. That's where we wanted to see all the crazy stuff.
got a new Stein.
He did get a new Stein.
And it's awesome.
I got it as a present. Okay, we're gonna pause so you can show the people your new Stein. We will come back.
That's literally as big as my head.
It is.
Yeah, it's a Millennium Memorial Stein. So if I go right here, it's a frieze of like all the stuff over the millennium, or in the past like 1,000 years, up to the year 2000. So you got Vikings, you got medieval times, Aztec calendar. We hit the clock, Declaration of Independence, and then you get like steam engines, and there's the Gutenberg press is in there somewhere. First plane, first car, and then you get around to rockets and the little atom and an astronaut and a lady sitting on her computer right here. Which is funny.
And the top of it is a globe.
And the top's a globe. Oh, which is fitting. I can't lean it, it'll pour on the computer. But oh yeah, that was my present that Sammy got me. Because I carry a water stein around with me everywhere. Das Wasserstein. And that's my new one.
Yeah. I'm so glad you love it.
I do.
It's awesome. The
That's
passage of time. You get to drink the passage of time. Cool. I'm glad you got to do show and tell. That's awesome.
Me too.
Good.
Okay, please continue.
Yes. So I was.
17 days.
Oh yeah. So we had 17 days, and since we definitely wanted to do a reasonable amount in Tokyo, but we didn't want to stay in Tokyo the whole time. Of course, we wanted some variety. So we decided to do the first. I think it was 10 days. I believe was in Tokyo. We wanted a good chunk of time.
We spent a chunk there.
Because there's so much. It's so huge, and there's so much to see that we only very barely scratched the surface, even in the time that we had there.
And we went all over.
Man,
We hit a bunch of places.
did. We really did, but there's still so much more to see, so I really look forward in the future to going back and seeing some other areas that we haven't been to yet. But it is just the craziest place. Tokyo is insane. I actually was going to show you guys some photos. I have some Facebook photos that I thought that you guys might like to see. So let me pull some of this up. So first off, I'm sure you guys have heard about English, which is the Asian language really trying really hard to do English well. And sometimes they just fall a little bit short on that, but it's fucking funny.
That's real.
So we found a couple funny ones. We saw fried dumpings.
Fried dumping.
Like, okay, okay,
The
all right,
English,
fried
the English
dumping.
was one of my favorite parts of being out there, I think. I loved it.
So, yeah, oh, that was fantastic.
Oh, you don't have to leave full screen.
I didn't have to? Okay.
There's
Okay,
arrows.
oh yeah. All right, we have green onion couch, which I really tried to figure out what. Maybe like,
What does that
maybe
mean?
like pillow? Like it looks like a pillow, and then pillow turned into couch. I honestly don't know. Maybe they like the word. I usually
Green onion couch.
I don't know, but it's the green onion couch, and it cracked me up so freaking hard.
So tasty.
And then T-shirt. Okay, that killed me.
The T-shirt.
The T-shirt.
Yeah.
That was good. That was really good. So those are some of the first funny things that we ended up seeing there.
The English.
Let me pull up some more fun things, y'all. Okay. So
The T-shirt. We all need new T-shirts.
T-shirt. Oh my God.
Don't spill your green onion couch on your T-shirt.
Let's see. Let me look at this photo here. Oh, we're gonna come back to that. Now's not the time for that.
We're not ready for that.
We're
You're not
not.
ready for that.
No,
Don't
I
even.
can't even make it go away. Hold on, how do I make it go away? There we
We're
go.
not ready for
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to do internet sharing things that I never got to do before.
that. Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah,
for
we had to
your
kind of get over
patience.
some things to share our photos on here.
Yeah, we
so.
really wanted to share stuff. So thank you for being patient while I find some of the things.
New
that we
rapper
need.
named T-shirt. Yeah. And then what was Tavia's rapper name? Little Tooth Extraction.
What?
That's it. Yeah. She had to make a Facebook post. And
Oh my God,
her
that's
rapper
so
name
funny.
came up. Little Tooth Extraction.
Oh my God, that's sad.
Oh, Green Onion Pouch. Oh, hi, Krista.
Krista, hi. Like ravioli, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's a good thought. Pouch. Yeah.
I wish that I knew,
Yeah,
but I don't.
I had no guesses.
I just don't know. But you know, we try. We try to figure it out, and that's the best that we can do.
Yep.
So we had went to Harajuku
Yes.
while we were in Tokyo, which this was one of my biggest goals, was to go to Harajuku. If you guys are not familiar with Harajuku, it is the really like hip, fashionable region of Tokyo where a lot of the younger folks hang out, and they dress in like really bizarre outfits, super crazy kind of over the top stuff, and I love it. I think it's so fun. So I really wanted to go to Harajuku, and I heard to go on Sunday is the best day to go because that's when everybody dresses up in their like extra fun outfits, or like we're definitely going on
Go on
Sunday.
Sundays.
So we're walking up to Harajuku, and I see this fantastic individual that of course I dressed cute, but man, they had me beat. It's like this onesie, and they had a mask on, and I'm not even sure what is with the feet. I don't even know. It looks like 2 different slippers and a whole bunch of different stuff. But this person made some little rings out of pipe cleaners and was handing them out to people, and they gave me one, and I'm so happy that I have one. It's like such a special little thing. I got a gift from
But it's
somebody.
funny because we were dressed how we just always dress, and we walk up in here and we kind of just fit right in. Like some of the people that were dressed up were just as excited to see us as we were to see them. Like
They thought we
That
were
was-
really cool.
yeah.
Dusty had a rainbow mohawk at the time too, which they thought was so awesome. So I've got rainbow
was
long
big,
dreadlocks,
too.
and he has a rainbow mohawk, and they were like just stoked about it. That it was
Yeah,
awesome.
they were super
So
happy.
we ended up making friends with some of these Harajuku girls because they thought we were so fun. So we're walking down the alley, and they're actually filming a documentary about the Harajuku girls, and we're like, oh, we'll just like stay away, you know, because give them their space. And I don't know, the director or whatever was like, come back here and hang out. You can watch from here. So we're like, okay, that's fun. So we watched this interview happening. And then as soon as they were done filming, we got to meet this lovely lady and a bunch of the other people who we were so stoked to see a bunch of them like all in one spot. We were so excited. And they were seriously equally as excited to see us.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Which is funny because the reason we walked up, like we stopped and like we were kind of far away. We were down at the end of the block, like watching, and we're like, oh my God, there's a whole group of them. Like that's awesome. That's what we were looking for. And they saw us out of the corner of their eye, and they were in the middle of an interview, but you could tell like they were just like they're doing their interview, but they're looking, and like we're just like, hi, but they were just like, and they ended up like I think they paused the interview basically so that they could run over and say hi, and we came over and said hi, and like everybody was looking at everybody's accessories, so we got a whole bunch of like these Harajuku kids just going, oh kawaii, like looking at all like our buttons and like whatever stuff we had on, and like, oh so kawaii, loved it. And we're like, oh this is awesome, like where'd you get that, that's rad. And like we're looking at all their stuff,
But
which was
no,
super cool.
no English. They did
No
not
English.
speak any English,
No.
and I did not know enough Japanese to be able to communicate. Besides, like, oh, that's cute and that's cool and
Yeah.
whatever. But you could tell there was this like mutual respect for each other, and it was really cool. We all just thought each other were so cool. So they started taking photos, like selfies, with us, which is why I felt comfortable. Like, you take photos with me, and they're like, yay!
Yeah.
So yeah, they wanted pictures with us. So there's pictures of us somewhere in Japan right now.
So,
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go through and see. This is like an overview, and I don't want to blow my load too fast here.
nobody wants to do that.
This is Shinjuku, which is so cool.
But yeah, and then we actually found the documentary later that they were filming. Oh, there's the kids. And got to watch a little documentary. It wasn't a Vice documentary, but it was about like that type of thing, where it was just a little short thing, but it was cool.
Yeah.
We got to see them.
Hey,
and they were
actually,
just, like,
somebody had tagged me in it randomly. I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, "Oh, I thought you'd appreciate this. I know you love like Harajuku stuff." And I watched the video, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's the one that I was like right there while they were filming it." I met these people.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. So yeah, that was pretty cute. Yay! And all the barrettes in the
All the
universe.
Yeah.
They loved the barrettes. Oh my goodness.
And there's different styles of Harajuku too. So there's like this style where it's very like childlike. There's that darker style, and then there's like these weird like rockabilly looking ones, but it's like over the top like anime rockabilly where their their pompadours go like way up off their head and like
That's awesome.
it's ridiculous. But
And then there's the Lolita style, which
the
is like the
Lolitas.
dark but elegant, like almost Victorian reminiscent, which I love that style. I think it's
Yeah.
so cute. But then you have over here on the right, this chick, she's not even Japanese, but she looks like, I don't know, Little Bo Peep or something like that.
Little House on the
Like
Prairie.
they have got really like cute and very like pastel color kind of style going on. So that's an interesting one that, hey, to each their own. Not my thing. Oh, and here we are in Harajuku, and we meet this fantastic gentleman here who we are still friends with to this day. This is Marcello.
Marcello. Who
Marcello
we love.
is Italian, and he realizes that we're speaking English, and he's like, "Oh, you speak English?" He's like, "I speak English, not very well, but I speak English. Where are you from?" We start talking to him. We're like, "Oh, we're from the States." He is Italian, but he is a sailboat captain, and he sails around the world.
Yeah.
And he sailed to Japan. And he has sailed through the Northwest Passage, which very few people have ever done. He has sailed
he's guided
all
people through
over.
there. Yeah.
It is amazing. So it was really cool to meet somebody who was such a extreme traveler, and we became friends, and we're friends to this day, and it's really special. It was really, really neat.
And then I keep seeing photos of him recently, like he's doing the whole camper van thing, like around. He was in South America for a while, and then he hit Iceland for a little
The
bit.
last I saw, he was in Norway. He was like all
Norway.
up in Norway, but I haven't seen anything from him for a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
But yeah, he's all over the
He
place.
came
It's
through
really
here
cool.
at one point. He parked his boat, whatever you call that. He parked his boat here in Seattle for a minute, and we got
Moored
to
the boat.
moored it.
The boat.
He moored
I
it,
think that's it.
and we got to see him while he was here, which is super cool. After he went everywhere, but super traveler,
He's
super awesome guy.
He is awesome. So it's really neat the people that you meet along your journeys.
Yeah. And how random, just standing
So
in,
random.
standing in Japan taking photos.
Oh, and then this shop, oh my God, they had the cutest stuff in the whole world, and I went a little bit too crazy about it, I guess. I bought a lot of shit. They had like lots of like little tiny cute little food items and little just tiny cute things to make art with, and I could not believe how inexpensive that it was there. It was really cheap.
Yeah, it was super.
So I bought like the most of it.
Yes.
And I have no regrets.
And there's that thing.
No regrets.
No regret.
Oh my God, no regrets. Which, by the way, I always said I will not go to Japan until I know that I have enough funds to actually do it properly, because I can't go there and know that I like can't have these things, because I will be super sad.
Yeah, this is true.
So I got to do Harajuku. That was super fun. And I had actually been following this YouTube page called Rachel and June, and it's about this American girl who was engaged to a Japanese guy, and she had this awesome YouTube channel that was about like, hey, this is what it's like to be involved with somebody who is Japanese. This is the cultural differences. This is what it's like having to go back and forth, and these are the things that I miss when I'm there, or miss when I'm here, or whatever. So it was super cool. So I watched a bunch of their videos, and I felt like it was really informative and kind of got me prepared for what I was about to experience, you know, learning from an American in Japan. And I find out that while we're there, there's going to be a YouTube meet and greet at a bar where her and June are going to be there. She was like, if anybody's in Tokyo at this time, I'm going to be there for this meet and greet. And it's also a whole YouTube meet and greet thing for other YouTubers as well, based out of Tokyo. So I'm like, holy shit, we get to go meet these people. This is going to be awesome. So we go to, what is it? What is that area called?
Something with an R.
Yeah. Shit, I can't remember the name of the area.
Like Rincon or...
I can't remember
something
this one,
Japanese
but
with an R.
Either way, it's a region of the city that's kind of known as a more like, sadly, like Americanized area where it's a little bit more like shenanigans, like young people bar shenanigans type of thing. But whatever, who cares? I'm gonna go, meet
We're American. We can deal
these
with that.
people that I've been following and say thank you so much for all of your help and all of that, and get to just like be in a place to meet people. So I meet them. She's super, super nice. Everything was really cool. And they've got on the screens, they've got a bunch of different videos that they're cycling through from the different YouTube people. And there is a Japanese dude breakdancing like a motherfucker, man, like just tearing it up. And we end up meeting this guy named Kay. And
yeah, we were watching his video of him doing all this epic shit, like breakdancing, and we're like, wow, this guy's amazing. And from behind us, we hear this guy go, hey, that's me. And we're like, what? And we turn, and he's like, no way, I'm on the screen. And we're like, dude, that's you? Like, he's like, yeah. We're like, you're amazing.
oh, man.
And we ended up sitting down and talking to him for, 5 hours straight?
Yes.
In that bar?
Yes.
Like, a long time. Super cool guy.
Yes. We ended up talking for so long. We bonded. It was so cool. And this was the first Japanese person that we met that fluently spoke English. He had went to school in Canada for a little while, and he learned fantastic English. So we were like, oh my goodness, we're so glad that there's somebody Japanese that we can talk to. This is awesome. Like, we really we're hoping to meet more friends out here, but unfortunately we can't really communicate enough to like make friends out here. So you should like hang out and shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
Hi Dustin, by the way.
Hi Dustin.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans.
So we're so glad to get to talk to somebody here, and he was very animated. So generally speaking, the Japanese culture, they're a lot more reserved, and they're a little more calm, and they're more like introverted just naturally by nature. This is just an overall kind of thing. And that, I think, as we learned, is more specific to Tokyo area, because there's so many people. Everyone's just doing their thing. Everyone's got their head down. They likened it to like New York City, where people aren't as friendly because they don't have time or whatever. But
oh, hi Carl. Speaking of being friendly.
Oh, hi Carl.
Carl in Colorado.
Hello. I am so happy to see you pop in.
Yeah.
Yay. You came in for an episode about me and Dusty talking about our travels right now.
We're just talking about travel.
So that's awesome. So we're like, we have questions, and because he was so much more open and seemed like he had like a really pretty like dirty and dark sense of humor, which was unlike the average that we met. He is from Osaka. What did he say? He's from Osaka, I think. But people in Osaka seem to be a little bit more like, have more senses of humor, and they're a little more crass about stuff.
It's a little more westernized.
So we're like, okay, I feel like we can just be real with you and just ask you questions. And he's like, I really want to ask you guys questions. I've never been to America, so like, will you please answer? So we're like, yes, okay, let's sit down and let's just like ask each other real deal stuff. So it was so fantastic. We learned so much from him to like, okay, we're here, but we don't understand these certain things. I'm like, look, these toilets, what's the deal with the toilets? I took a photo of the toilet. Can you please translate this for me? Because I don't know what any of these things mean.
There are so many buttons, and I'm afraid I'm going to flush myself or blow something up. Can you please tell me what all these buttons do?
But I didn't feel like it was appropriate to ask other people because they're so much more proper, you know? And I'm like, okay.
Cashier at the store. What's this mean? What is this toilet?
And they couldn't even explain in English in ways that we would understand too. So it was just tough. We just had to try to figure it out. So it was little stuff like that we were able to ask, and about like, you know, certain traditions and stuff, and like, why do people do this or not do this or whatever. And man, we learned so much from this guy. It was awesome. And he was asking us a million questions also. So we got to kind of like blow his mind, where he was just like, do people really do this in America? You know, and we're like, yeah. He's like, no way. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things that we got to ask him about, which I legitimately really wanted to understand and I did not know before. And I was like, okay, I was like, this is kind of a little bit of like maybe a touchy subject, but I feel like we can ask you. I was like, so seems like Japanese culture loves American culture, and you guys think the fashion's cool and the music's cool, and everybody's treated us so nice. Everybody loves Americans. It's like, we like dropped nukes on you guys back in the day, not that terribly long ago. So like, I need you to explain to me, like, how is there not like any kind of like stigma against Americans after all of that happened? Like, I don't understand. If I were you guys, I wouldn't necessarily lash out at individuals, but I would maybe be a little bit more weary or whatever, you know? And he told us that in school, they're taught that it was their fault and that it was deserved.
Yeah, like they brought it upon themselves. Like, oh.
Wow. He's like, yes, well, you know, we were taught in school that, you know, we made the first attack on Pearl Harbor, and, you know, that we did that, and it was only fair about the retaliation, and now we are allies and we've moved forward, and it's fine. So there is no grudge because we were told that we messed up, basically, and you guys did what you had to do. And that was like super surprising to me. That was like super shocking, where I was like, wow, okay, you know, like, I mean, way to like own your shit. I appreciated the fact that, you know, they were like, okay, well, you know, we did this thing, and there's a cause and effect type of thing, which it seems in this country we're not really good at doing that. We just try to change history and make it seem like we haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So that was enlightening. And then we asked about, you know, the English speaking, and it was explained to us that they, you know, don't learn how to speak it and all of those things. So, you know, it really kind of gave us a little bit more insight on what was happening out there. And we made a plan to hang out and like, you know, show us around, like, let's hang out while we're still here. So we made an actual friend, which was so great.
Yeah, we made a friend.
It was so cool. So there's this restaurant that I saw online before we went, and I figured Kay, being the oddball that he was, that he would really appreciate this establishment. So it sucks. I think during COVID it closed. So I think it's closed forever, which is super sad. It is called Alcatraz ER. This place.
Which, real quick, before we get into these pictures of Kay, I would like to say, even though he was more open and animated, he still had that Japanese humbleness where he was like shy about certain things, and like, we're just rude and crass, and like, we're willing to make dick jokes, but every time somebody makes a dick joke, he does the like, oh, I can't believe he said that. Like, he's still like got that in him. So keep that in mind.
Yeah,
but he's more open than everyone.
But his inhibitions went out the window when we were in this establishment because he realized
this is true.
That this was a safe place to be ridiculous, because it was already ridiculous, so he rolled with it. Mm-hmm. So this place, Alcatraz ER, the theme of this place, it is, try to follow me here, it's like a bunch of mishmash shit. Yeah. It's like horror, sexy jail, themed. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's like the kind of like a
Emergency room.
oh, yeah,
ER.
yeah. So the like doctors, sexy nurses, essentially. So it's like a doctor's office type of thing, but horrifying. So it's almost like haunted house mixed in, but also jail themed.
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz.
Which it was actually in what looked like an old jail. And their jail cells are not like ours. They're super short and they're double stacked. So they were only like, I think you had to duck to get into it.
Yeah.
Even like
No,
so
but it was just in a. It was in a.
they just built it to look like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
No, it was just in a high-rise building. It was a high-rise building, and there was a bunch of different restaurants and shops and all that stuff. And I don't remember what floor it is. You have to go to the 6th floor or whatever, and then you're in a whole different fucking world. It is like crazy, dude. It is so awesome, Dustin. It was so fucking awesome, dude. So this little weird thing you have right here, you have to do. Oh shit! Sorry, I'm fucking up. You have to put in your blood type to enter, which we found out
to get into the building.
that blood type is kind of similar to the way here, where people are like, "What's your sign?" Here in the States, the zodiac sign kind of more determines who you are, and in Japanese culture, your blood type is more what they use to determine what kind of person that you are, which I find very, very interesting. Did you ask me about the dichotomy of Japanese weirdness versus their reserved culture? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so before I go further with this, I will answer about that. It's really interesting that because from a young age, they're told that they need to work super hard and just kind of put all their heart into everything that they do. They don't really have a lot of time for a lot of extra things. So they don't have summer break. They have like different holidays, short breaks, but they don't have summer break out there. You go to school all year. You have to keep learning. It is the number one goal of your life is to learn, and get a career. Once you get a career, your job is to put everything that you have into this career. And a lot of the businessmen are very repressed, and it causes a lot of turmoil for a lot of people, which is why their suicide rates are extremely high out there, especially in Tokyo and the big cities, because they don't have time to make friends. They don't have time for relationships. They're just told that you have to have this kind of job, and in order to show that you're doing the best job that you can, you have to just work to the bone. So some of the younger people now in this newer generations are seeing how that is an option, and they don't want to live like that. So cueing the Harajuku people and a lot of the extreme styles is because people are fighting against the standard that has been there for so long. They're like, well, I don't want to be that. So usually it's a lot of the younger people that are really like rebellious against that kind of thing. So there is a lot of weird shit, but a lot of the businessmen on the outside look very normal in their business suits and whatever, but they, everybody's different. So a lot of them have weird, kinky type of things that they don't have a way to actually express. They don't have a safe place to be able to let that out. So there are a lot of, bizarre, what we consider bizarre subcultures out there to give some of these people, specifically ones that are more repressed, a chance to let that out. So, this type of place, sure, a lot of young people are coming here, and yes, a lot of tourists as well, but I guarantee you there's a reasonable amount of people who in their daily life would never show any signs of wanting to go to a horror jail sexy nurse themed place, but they show up, and now they are in an element where they can actually let themselves be free to be themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty much like on the surface they have to be very contained and very, very normal and fit in. You don't disturb anything, but once you're in your own private land, or like you have your private life, and like, on the inside, basically, you can let those fantasies out and those thoughts out, and they kind of view it as it's safer to keep all that in private and to yourself than it is to let that out. Like, you're not hurting anybody, you know. So a lot of the stuff, like, you can live out these fantasies, and it's okay to release those tendencies and those just human nature thoughts that people have, but you make sure to keep that separate from your daily life and what you're actually doing. You know, that's a private situation, but in private anything goes almost.
And it causes a lot of sadness and loneliness for a lot of these people, because like I said before, they don't have any time to maintain relationships. So a lot of these businessmen are single, and they have a bunch of money, and they're living in a nice apartment, but they don't have anybody to share it with. They don't have the time to meet people to establish these relationships. I mean, they have the little capsule hotels, which is just like essentially like a coffin that you sleep in, because some of them work so late hours that they don't even want to take the train all the way back to where they live or whatever. They just stay in these little capsule hotels and go back to work in the morning. Like, it's really pretty rough. So sometimes they'll go to the bar afterwards and have a few drinks and then go home. But they did invent something that they called host clubs out there, which I find very interesting. These host clubs, generally it's for men, and men go in, and it's a bar slash restaurant, and you pay to have the company of a woman or man or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you want, but you're paying for company. And I don't mean in any kind of sexual way. This is not a sexual thing. This is, you are basically like, hey, would you like to come have dinner with me? I'm paying for you to have dinner with me. So this person will sit with you and be like, oh, tell me about your job. What do you do for your job? And they're like, oh, I do IT stuff and this and that. And they're like, wow, that's so interesting. Like, tell me more about it or whatever. Or, you know, do you like your coworkers? And then they're like, oh, I have this drama with my coworker that I just need to get out. And they're like, wow, that's so interesting. You know, they do it to give companionship.
Yeah, it's essentially rent a friend is what it is. And like, it's male and female both. Like, there was flyers all over everywhere, and it's funny because the flyers, like, it's like headshots, and they look all like sexy in their headshots, but there's nothing sexual about it. It's literally conversation and having a companion while you eat, like somebody to talk to.
And then for women, this is really interesting. They have a cafe where there's, like, you know how they have all the, like, cute stuffed animals and stuff, all the cute creatures out there. There's a giant, like, bear type of creature. I don't even know exactly what it is, but you can have dinner or coffee or whatever and sit with this giant stuffed animal bear thing, so they feel like they have some kind of companionship. There's not an empty chair in front of them. So it is kind of rough. It's pretty sad that a lot of these people are held to this high standard, the highest of standards, where you dishonor yourself and your family if you do not work that hard constantly all of the time. And personal lives are not seen as a very important thing in specifically that, like, business world culture. So obviously not everybody is a business worker. So there's a lot of other people that work at cafes or whatever, and they have plenty of time to go have social lives and stuff. But specifically businessmen, it's pretty rough. And the suicide forest out there, which is on Mount Fuji, is a thing, because a lot of these people, they're so considerate and conscientious, and they're so sad that they don't want to live anymore, but they don't want to leave a mess for anyone else to clean up. So they just go to the forest, and they hike out into the forest, and they do their business. So that's like a real deal thing, that the suicide forest is legit. It's really sad that, you know, putting too much pressure on people, and this goes for, like, parents with kids as well. You know, when you put too much pressure on people to perform a certain way to please everybody else, they're being taught to not please themselves. They're being taught to not do anything for your own self that brings you pleasure and joy. It's all about making sure that other people see you as worthy. And personally, I think that is counterproductive.
Yeah. Which is, exactly like you said, Carl. Like, the most repressed cultures are the ones that have the most rebellion.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why, I mean, just like here in this country, we force everybody to wait until they're 21, or, you know, you're supposed to wait until you're 21 to drink, and then whenever people hit 21, they go crazy and all of a sudden, like, they're drinking way too much. It's extremely irresponsible, and there's fights in the bars, and everybody just gets, messed up. Where at other countries, whenever the drinking age is either not there or extremely low, nobody does that.
It's not a novelty anymore.
It's not a novelty.
Crazy.
It's not a thing. Like, when you've been drinking wine since you were, 11, you're not going to go out and get drunk on whatever birthday and just go and cause shenanigans. Like, you've been drinking forever, and you've learned how to do it responsibly. Like,
learning to do things responsibly is, I feel, super important. Yeah. So, that does kind of answer that question, that there is a huge divide between the weirdness and the reserved folks, and sometimes the two do meet, where the repression causes, some bizarre, what I would consider, bizarre things. Mm-hmm. So, going back into bizarre things,
back to the bizarre.
And this Alcatraz ER place, so their menu was crazy. Holy shit. You could order a drink out of a severed head.
I obviously ordered the severed head drink.
Dusty definitely ordered the severed head.
What's in it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's a severed head.
I ordered I don't drink alcohol, so I got what was called peach boobs, and they brought it in a fucking baby bottle, because they're like, oh, you don't drink, you little baby, here you go. And the sexy nurse comes, and she puts it in my mouth, and it was so fucking funny. I had a good laugh about that.
Yeah.
Now, Kay's, as you can see here, it is a test tube with a frozen banana with chocolate to make it look like a dick. Yes. And they serve it like that. And then the sexy nurse takes a syringe with, I think it was probably coconut milk.
It was like a frozen, like a thick coconut milk, because it was thicker.
Well, coconut milk can be pretty thick.
Because
like
oozed,
coconut
like,
cream or whatever. You
like
mix that up.
Yeah.
So, and they squirt it right on the dick.
Yeah, it was like a white jizzy substance that they squirt on the dick whenever they bring it out.
Which was so fucking funny. And Kay
with
proceeded,
him holding it and her squeezing it, his face, he's just like, and he's laughing, but he's also like, my mom would be so upset right now.
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah. The severed head drink was good.
I'll be back in a bit. Gotta go get some peach boobs. Okay, we'll hold the fort down for you, Dustin.
Need some peach boobs.
Oh, you're painting while you're watching. That's awesome.
Oh, good.
Oh, your cat's trying to drink the paint water. Not good. Not good.
Our cats drink it all the time. It's fine. They're fine.
Okay, so here's Kay, and he does proceed to give the banana a legit blowjob, and I have it on video. Yeah.
He did bite the tip.
That's the fucking jail so cells. Funny. Yeah, this is jail cells. Jail cells. You sound like from the country.
That's the jail cells.
Yeah, so you walk down this like creepy hallway, and then they put you in the jail cell.
Which was cool, because they were, like I was saying, they were stacked up. So the one that on the bottom level was only like 3 feet tall, and then like the floor sunk down just a little bit, but you'd like duck in, and then you like crawl over to your seat basically, and you sit down, and you get in this jail cell, and there's like the sexy nurse, and she has the little like the nightstick, so as you're walking down, she's taking you to your table, she's clanging the nightstick on all the like the poles on the cells as you walk by, and you get in there, and she's like, yeah, get in there, and she like forces you in, and then she takes the door and like slams it on you, so it's like like slams the jail cell on you. Like, it wasn't locked or anything, but it's good. So you're sitting in like a little like cell that's super short.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So that was really fun. That was one of the coolest places, and I'm glad we got to go with a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, we hit a couple themed restaurants, but that one was cool.
It was so cool.
The Alice in Wonderland restaurant that we hit. Alice in Wonderland
restaurant was so fun.
Oh man, when they theme a restaurant, and everybody was all dressed up and everything. We got a song with our salad.
Yes, I had looked it up on the internet beforehand, and they were like, okay, this is a pro tip. Order the Caesar salad, and if you do, they make this fancy Caesar salad at your table, and Alice sings you a song while she tosses the salad. And we're like, oh my god, we have to order the Caesar salad. Normally, I probably wouldn't have ordered a salad in Japan, but I was like, we gotta order the salad that comes with the song. Yep. And it was like the cutest thing I've ever seen. Oh, Whitney, I just want to throw out that you both look great and don't age, apparently. You look the same, even though it was almost a decade ago. Oh,
thanks.
thank you. That's
Yeah,
so sweet.
I gave up on aging. That wasn't fun. I just quit doing that.
That is
Like, I'm over
awesome.
it.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's
No
so
more
cool.
aging.
I know people
Yeah,
still
thanks,
think I'm
lady.
like 27. I think I'm going to be 27 for the rest of my life. Because everybody always thinks
a
I'm
good age.
27, no
fine.
matter how old I am.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so we got a song.
Tokyo.
She made us clap.
It was
She
awesome.
was tossing the salad while singing.
It
You ever had a
was
song while somebody
fucking
tossed
great.
your salad? Probably not. It's
It
fun.
was so cool. I loved it. That was so great. So then here's a little cemetery that we walked by. Very unique style
We always
cemetery.
hit any cemetery we can find.
Super damn cool.
So in Japan, we're like, we're definitely going to a cemetery. And yeah, weird.
It was super cool.
much different.
Repeat, I just want to say I love you, Dusty and Sammy. I'm so glad you took care of Tavia through her
Aw,
recent
thanks.
dental adventure. Absolutely. That
Do what
poor
we can.
thing, man.
We told her she should go to Croatia like you did.
For sure,
Like,
we did.
When she was looking around, like looking at those prices, it's like, man, you should go to Croatia.
But we only had to go to Renton, so that was a little bit closer,
it's,
you know. But-
Renton, Croatia.
Thanks, though. Thank you. Poor little sweet thing.
Definitely.
There's a payphone, a neon green payphone,
Neon green payphone, my favorite.
which is awesome. Oh yeah, here's more of the cemetery, which is very, very, very unique.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was saying. No elephants.
No
Elephants should not blow toilet paper out of their noses or something.
What is he doing?
Well, I don't know. I still don't know to this day.
We still don't know. Yeah. Maybe
I
he's
don't know.
maybe he's eating pills. Oh wait, there's a cigarette burning.
Okay, a cigarette. What would this mean?
No.
If you're smoking a cigarette, don't blow toilet paper.
Don't. Yeah.
I have no idea. I really want to know.
I
But
do like
don't
the
know.
random beer can sitting up on top of it. Up here, though. That was one cool thing is they had beer and vending machines, and the weird thing walking around the streets of Tokyo, there's no trash cans. There's no trash cans anywhere. There's also no litter anywhere, which was blowing our minds because we're walking around and we just had pockets full of trash because we're like, there's no trash cans. Like, it was like a scavenger hunt to find a trash can. And it'd be painted like a panda or something when you found it, so it's fun. But we're like, there's no trash cans, and our pockets are full of trash. So I start looking around at everybody, and I'm like, everybody's pockets are full of trash right now.
Except for the alley piles.
Except for the alley piles.
There was a
Next
couple
to
alley piles.
those vending machines that sold beer, there were beer cans just stacked, like, on everything. Like, people would just like buy their beer and slam it and put the empty can back down. It's like, why is this the one place where there's trash? Like, this is where it's okay to litter, and why is there not a trash can right here? You should put a trash can here if you're going to put one anywhere. This would be the
Agreed.
spot.
I did find out why they don't have as many public trash cans.
Really?
I did. I found this out. It was after the Boston bombing and different bombings where people were putting bombs in trash cans.
Oh.
They removed the trash cans to make it safer so people couldn't hide bombs in them.
But that happened way after we were in there.
No.
The
Boston
Boston
bombing?
Marathon bombing?
No, it was a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
I don't know. That was a while ago.
Oh, I don't know.
But, yeah, it was
But bombs, trash
it was
bombs.
yeah, they don't want trash bombs. So
Yeah. Okay.
I thought that
No
was
trash
interesting.
bombs.
But I'm like, but there's trash.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like trashy all over the streets, but in the alleys, sometimes when you looked in the alleys, there would be a pile that had trash, but it was all contained to one region.
Yeah.
So this is the acceptable region
This is where
to
we put
put
it.
your trash here.
Yeah, it's weird.
But not on the streets. No, like people didn't really. I'm surprised there's a beer can, honestly, on top of this photograph.
That's what I was
because
thinking.
most
That's
people
made me
did
think
not.
it had to be next to a vending machine.
Yeah. Yep. Weird.
That might be a vending machine. Is it on the
It
side of a
might be
vending machine?
I have no idea.
Maybe.
Oh, everything was so like intense. Like this, even though you can't tell how large this is like a whole Batsmaru thing on the side of the building.
Batsmaru.
And it's awesome.
Do any of you know what Batsmaru is?
You should if you know about Sanrio. I bet Krista does. Yay. So,
Zoom back out.
we'll zoom back out.
There's a gate.
We found some
the
cool
temples.
gates.
All the temples. We saw so many temples.
Before we get to temples, oh my
Oh,
god,
what is it?
speaking of vending machines.
Mm.
Oh, the royal milk tea out there. Oh my god, it was so
Oh, yeah.
good.
This is
And
true.
ever since I tried it, now I'm like hooked
Mhm.
on it. It's so good. It's just like a milky, sweet tea, and it's the best. And I still dream of it all the time. Oh, look, happiness.
Oh yeah, bottle of happiness.
Bottle of happiness. All the vending machines have a bunch of like random stuff in it too.
Oh, yeah, I
it's
bet you
it's
can't.
really cool.
You guys probably can't see that. That sucks. You should look at these pictures we got going. They're good. Yeah.
There you
But
go.
yeah, it says happiness.
Happiness.
Peach and raspberry flavor happiness.
It was great.
Ooh.
Oh, and now we're back.
And
So yeah, so we saw a lot of like super fun.
saw some fun things.
Stuff.
So the city was fun. Tokyo, epic. Osaka, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, we didn't even get to the fact that we decided on our trip.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, first, hold on. We didn't leave Tokyo yet. Before we leave Tokyo.
Before we leave Tokyo.
Before we leave Tokyo. We went to a place that we saw on Anthony Bourdain's show. Parts Unknown.
Yeah.
And he was talking about this show that he saw. It's called the Robot Restaurant. Nobody really eats there. The food's not very good. Everybody knows don't eat there. I don't know why they feel the need to call it Robot Restaurant. Should have called it Robot Show, because it is in fact a robot show. And
That it is.
it was the craziest shit that we've ever seen. I wish I had more photos available on the fly for this one, but we can send you a link, or you can Google Robot Restaurant and look at some of these videos and stuff. It's the craziest shit of all time. I don't even know how to even describe it. It's the most ornately gaudy, decorated building that you've ever seen in your life. Everything is covered in mirrors and bright colors and LED lights and LED screens and
Yeah.
shit. And you just go to this show, and it's the craziest thing of all time. There's things that you never thought you'd see, including actual robots. And at
Including
one
robots.
point, while you're doing the show, they're like, hey, if you want, you can go down and in this little intermission and go take photos with the robots. So this is me with the robot. Oh my god.
These
I was
robots
so
were
excited.
Giant. They had gigantic robots. Like, they came in on these crane things that drove them out, remember? And they were hanging by their shoulders. And then they set them down, and they were like, and like they had to sit down. They were giant, up like 7 feet.
Yeah.
And then there were, whatever. We'll get into it. Robot pictures.
Oh man. Yeah, the robots were crazy. They had them dancing to Gundam Style and shit. Like
yeah,
all these
totally.
crazy songs. And now there was some people dressed in robot costumes. There was that. There was some crazy people dressed up, but there was actual robots. So that's a real robot. And this, I gotta tell you, I have never seen Dusty so excited in my entire life. We have been together almost 13 years. He's very stoic. He's always very chill. Even if something's really cool, he's like, wow, that's really cool. That's neat. I like that. And I'm like, no, I'm freaking out. It's awesome. And he's like, yeah, it's totally cool. He's like always super calm.
It's not a
Look at
robot.
his face. He had tears in his eyes in this moment when they're like, you can go down and take a selfie with the robot. And he was like, oh my God. And he runs down there like it's the most excited thing in the entire world. And that face, I'm so glad that I got a picture of you taking that picture, because that's like my favorite picture that I
I
have
was
of you.
literally the first person on the floor. We were sitting in the back, and they were, they're talking about different things. The show was over or whatever, and the lady couldn't really tell what she was saying, but she made this motion that just said, you can come down onto the floor. I left Sammy. I jumped up and ran. I was like, "Pa!" It's like, I'm down. I just like bolted down these stairs and got onto the floor. And I was in the middle of a selfie before anybody else realized that they could come down onto the floor. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking pictures already.
true.
Like, whatever.
Oh
She
my
made the motion. That's the international sign of you can come.
Yes, yes.
You can come.
And it was so fucking awesome, dude.
was
It
so
was
good.
so good. This is what it kind of looks like on the street near there. But, oh man. Okay, so now there was a little video that I had found earlier that I scrolled across. So I am going to find that, because now is the time.
Now
If
it's
there
time
was a
to
time,
share a video.
it is now.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. It was funny because we were sold on it from Anthony Bourdain because he came out of the show. They didn't show anything about it, but he came out and he was like, I've seen Zeppelin live, I've seen the Beatles live, I've seen like all these different bands, all these different shows, and he was like, that was hands down the best show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we were
he
like,
says that, and we're like,
wow.
well, alrighty then, we're gonna have to go. And this is the fucking show. If you have seizures that are induced by flashing lights, it is not recommended. Not recommended.
No.
Because it was so insane. And all these chicks, like a lot of their...
bigger.
I know, I wish we could make it bigger too. Sorry, this is the best we're gonna get.
Figure out if I
A
can do
lot
that.
of their bikinis were like crusted in LED lights and stuff. And there was like a biplane that comes out that's crusted, and a tank and all this shit. And it was seriously... super. Oh yeah, so here's the
There's a
plane.
I
Is
think
that the
that's
plane?
the plane that she's hanging on. Oh
And
yeah,
the-
it's the wing of the plane that
And
they're
the
hanging
music
on.
was like, oh no, it's the tank.
Oh, it's the tank.
It's the tank. That's
Yeah,
the tank.
there
Okay,
we go.
There we go.
That's a tank
Now you-
covered in
now you can see
LED
it.
lights.
Oh my goodness gracious!
There was a panda riding a giant python at one point. They had Rock'em Sock'em robots that we did, or that we watched. Oh, cancel that. We don't want to see that. Yeah, it was just like weird. Like, what is happening? We don't know what's happening. All these robots come out, and there's like a big battle between robots. And at first, it starts, and there's like, what are the big Japanese drums? Something like.
I'm not sure what they're called actually.
I just looked these up recently. I went down a rabbit hole, but they're the gigantic drums that they hit with the sticks. Whatever those are called. I know somebody knows what those are, but they had a bunch of those and like a whole like ensemble of people playing them on these big carts that were like massive, that just like were remote control, I guess, and they drove around the floor and like moved around and like bent all around while these people were like playing all these epic drums, and it's all covered and just like crusted in LED lights, and it's just the most
It was
flashy,
crazy.
like just girls in bikinis yelling and stoked about things the whole time. We got light up sticks that we got to wave around. That was fun.
We did. Oh, those were so fun. You were having the best time
I was
ever
having
with
a
those
blast.
sticks.
I had
It was
no
so
idea
cute.
what was happening for that entire show, but I know that that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. What happened? I don't know. I have no idea.
It was.
I can't tell you
Oh
what
my god!
happened.
It was
Like,
so great.
But if you're ever in Tokyo, Robot Restaurant,
Yes.
it's a little pricey. Just pay it, because we were actually, so you go in and you're in like a waiting like lobby room, which is epically decorated, and we're sitting there like hanging out, like, okay, this is kind of fancy. And then they're like, okay, you guys can go in. You have to go take that elevator down, and then once you take the elevator down, you take stairs down, which was real confusing to me. I'm like, why didn't you make the elevator all the way, whatever. But they get in the elevator, and it's all mirrored, and then the ceiling has mirrored balls on it, and then the floor is mirrored, and then there's LED lights all over everywhere. And we're in this elevator going down, and I was like, this was worth all the money we just paid. Like, we haven't even gotten to the show yet.
Yes.
I'm so excited at this elevator. I'm happy. Like,
Yeah.
I got my money's
Because
worth.
at first we were like, damn, it was like $60.
I think it was like 60
And
bucks.
we're like, oh, we're obviously doing it, but we were like, man, that's a little steep because things are usually pretty inexpensive in Japan.
Yeah.
So we're like, $60, this better be good. And then we were
Not
like,
good.
oh my god, we didn't even get to the show yet, and it's 1,000,000% worth $60. Like, this
Yeah.
is crazy.
Definitely worth
Shit,
it.
it was so crazy.
That's great.
So yeah. So that was our last night in Tokyo.
What is this bar that popped up?
I don't know. I don't even know why that's there. I don't think it even shows up.
It will.
Oh, we don't know. There's a bar that showed up, and we don't know. We're trying to make that go away, but I have no idea why that's there. Let's go with it. Oh, because it's a video, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
But either
Hit
way,
full screen there. What's that do?
same thing. Okay.
Okay.
So we're in Tokyo, and we go to the freaking crazy ass robot restaurant, and
Robots.
the next day we are going to Kyoto, and Kyoto is the temple city. It's more of a big town than a city, especially going from Tokyo. So we went to how can I let me see. So So we get on the bullet train. Let's just start with that. We get on a bullet train, which was super awesome. We never thought we were ever going to go on a bullet train. It was awesome. It was super fast. It was so cool. Got to see Mount Fuji. Super neat. Zoom in, and we show up in Kyoto, and it is much more traditional. There is not the neon lights and all the crazy shit that was being shown in Tokyo, and it felt like we went into the past. It felt like we went hundreds of years into the past.
Our bullet train went way too fast. We backed up.
Fucking crazy, especially the fact that we did Robot Restaurant, which was like the most future-y thing that we've ever done in our life. And then the next day we wake up, we get on a train, and all of a sudden we are in a place where there are actual geishas walking down the road. A lot of people, just regular people, are in kimonos with their iPhones and shit, which I was
on
like,
their
wow,
iPhones,
interesting.
by the way.
But it's a much more calm, much more like relaxed area. And we were like, okay, talk about culture shock. That was culture shock in itself. Like, all right, we're switching gears. We're totally switching gears. And we got a hotel. I booked us a hotel in the Gion district, which is specifically the geisha district. And super historic area. And we go for a little walk, and there's this temple. And we're like, well, let's go check out this cool old temple. And we walk in there, and it's like right around, like before the sun sets. It's still light out, but there's like a lot of people at this temple, and we're like, there's an awful lot of people just at this temple. Maybe that's like a really famous one, but we can't read anything, so we don't know. So, okay, we're going to do our best. We'll just try to figure it out. And they start setting stuff up. And all this stuff starts happening, and we're like, what? What's going on right now? Like, we have no idea what's going on. We thought, the sun goes down, everybody leaves, but not in this case. In this case, they started setting up this whole event. And we were trying to ask, oh, good night, Steve.
Good night, Steve.
Sweet dreams. Thank you for being here. And thank you for subscribing today. We appreciate it. Now you got a little ghost.
Oh.
Hey.
Good. Yes, good
have
night
a
to you.
wonderful night. So they start setting everything up, and we're like, we have to figure out what on earth is going on. And I overheard somebody else speaking English, and I was like, excuse me, you speak English? Do you know what is happening right now? Like, we have no idea what's happening. And they're like, yeah, this is the Harvest Moon Festival. It's like a huge deal out here, and people come from all over the world. They're like, we came from Brazil to come here for this Harvest Moon Festival. And we're like, we didn't even know that was happening, and we were just staying right down the road, and we just wandered in. Like, what a beautiful, amazing thing to be a surprise that we definitely did not expect to happen. So I'm going to show you guys this video here that I took that first night. That I still to this day do not know what the ceremony exactly specifically was, but it was obviously very traditional, and it seemed like it was hundreds of years old traditions that they were doing. They had the old traditional instruments. They were playing music, and they did some kind of really like, it felt very profound.
Yeah, there were like chants and dances and very very precise movements with anything that they did, which is very Japanese, but that was fun.
It was just so interesting where we went from Tokyo being all crazy pants, and then all of a sudden, look at how many people are there. There was a lot of people.
A lot of people there.
And we felt so blessed and lucky. Honestly, it felt just like luck that we ended up booking the hotel right there that was a block or whatever away from this place, and we just showed up at the right time, so we knew to stay. It was really special. It was a really amazing and special thing that we got to be a part of. And unfortunately, I don't know what they were saying, and I wish that I did, because I would have been very happy to be participating in something like that, or at least just knowing what they're talking about. So, but either way, how cool that we ended up randomly at this thing in this beautiful, calm land, and we continue the next day on our journey, and we're walking around, and it's just like the coolest place. Thanks, Whitney. It is. It is.
really
It's
are.
so serendipitous. And actually, so this next day, there's just a story that I gotta tell you guys. That's like, to us, it's one of the most profound things that we have ever experienced. It's the little guy,
Oh yeah, our little like
our tour guide,
Yeah,
our
little
random
tour
tour
guide.
guide. So we're in
This
this
guy.
park in Kyoto, and there's a lot of really cool sculptures and cool stuff at this park, and it was just really neat. But it was a really big park, and there was a sign at some point that kind of had like the layout of the park, and it showed that there was a temple in the back that had a cemetery next to it. I mean, it was like not the main area that people hang out. You had to kind of like go for a little hike on a journey to go, and we're like, oh, there's a cemetery, let's go check it out, this will be cool. So we make our way back to the cemetery, and looking around, and it's old, it's beautiful, and it's right there by this beautiful temple with huge chestnut trees right next to it. It's so cool. So we're like, of course, very respectfully, like walking around and looking at this temple, and this tiny, super old Japanese guy just comes up, and we were like, oh shit, I wonder if maybe we're not supposed to be here or something like that, you know? And he looks at us and just kind of looks into our soul, it felt like, and he just waved like, come with me. And we're like, what? Where are we? We're like, hello, you know, is it okay that we're here? And like trying to see if he spoke English. He didn't speak any English.
And he was like tiny, kind of hunchback, and he had a briefcase.
Yes, he was probably 90 years old or whatever, super old guy, hunched with his briefcase. And we're like, okay, like, where are we going? And he was just like adamant. He's like, come with me. And we're like, okay, I don't know where the fuck we're going, but we're going wherever this guy's taking us. We're gonna
Yeah,
go.
definitely
Hopefully
following
he's
this
not a
guy.
murderer, because he could definitely just like lead us away and murder us at this point, because we're going wherever you're going.
Yeah.
So I bust out my video camera at this point, my handheld, and I'm like, okay, guys, I don't know where on earth we're going, but I'm videoing it because it's gonna be good. So he starts walking us through this bamboo woodsy area, and there's like wood laid down that we had to walk over ravines and shit. Like, it was not a touristy area at all. It was definitely some like secret hiding shit, and we're like, where the fuck are we going?
And little makeshift bridges with the boards and stuff. And when she says walking, this guy was not walking. This dude was booking it. Like, for a little old man, this
Yes.
guy was moving fast.
He was zooming.
And like uphill and over rocks and stuff.
I know,
like,
and I
you're
have a
on
bad knee,
trek.
man. I can't zoom that fast. I have short legs, can't zoom that fast, bad knee. So I was like doing my best to try to keep up, and he kept turning around to see if I was still there, and
he was,
kept
like,
being
waving.
like, come
He
on,
was like,
come
"Hurry."
on. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying, I'm coming. I don't even know where we're going right now.
And he's
we're
talking the whole time in Japanese to me too, because he ran off, so I followed, and then Sammy's behind, like filming, and he's just like talking in Japanese and running, and I don't know what he
we
was
have
saying.
no idea what he's saying.
No idea.
So he takes us. Finally, we reach the destination after a running and a million stairs and shit, and I'm all like out of breath. And he just points to this little shrine that's in a cave. There's a small little cave, and there's a shrine inside of this cave. And we're like, wow, that's cool. That's super cool. That's a shrine in the cave. I like that, but what is this for? Like, we had no idea. We
What is
couldn't
it?
find out. And there was a plaque over the cave that kind of was reminiscent of, you know, if it's like Jesus, and then people are like praying by Jesus. It was kind of a similar type of thing, but it was not Jesus. But somebody was very powerful, and then there was other people like praying to it, and we're like, okay, so it's something religious. This is here for somebody that's important. We're like, we have no idea what's going on. So I'm snapping pictures too, because I'm like, we need to figure out later what on earth is going on.
And dude sat down on a bench for a minute, and he like showed us the thing, and we're like, what's going on? And he's just like, ah. And he like sat and waited while we took pictures and stuff at this place.
And I could feel that it was special, but I didn't know why it was special. And I'm like, it's very special. It's special, you know. And he's just like, I'm like, fuck, man, like, this is so rough, because all I want to do is hear everything you have to say right now.
Yeah.
So afterwards, he's like, okay, follow, follow, follow. And he shows us some like big monument that's like a super tall rock carved with kanji on it. And I'm like, I can't read that, but I'm taking photos.
Yeah, don't know what that is.
And then we keep zooming. And then we go by a dojo. And that's the one word that I knew that he said because he's like, dojo. And we're like, dojo, dojo,
Yeah.
dojo, yes. Okay, that's a dojo. Got it.
Thankfully,
Fucking awesome.
Karate Kid taught us dojo. Like, we got that dojo. Okay.
We got that.
Sick.
And then there was a gravestone, a random gravestone behind the dojo.
Yeah, like back behind it. We like cut behind it and then tucked into this little corner back behind it. And there was like a headstone.
And there was like this little natural waterfall where it was just kind of water dripping from the rock with like thick moss, like it had been doing it for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it was like a really sacred, you could feel that it was really sacred. So we treated it as such, as sacred, although we had no idea the details of any of this stuff. So he walks us around that, and then we just like kind of keep going, and he's pointing at shit the whole way. Then we get back into the main part of the park, which we had already looked at, and he was like our freaking just tour guide, like, okay, check out this sculpture. And we're like, oh yeah, we saw that. And then this sculpture and this pond, like he was so cute.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just like waves goodbye and just walks away.
He just walks away. And like we weren't sure we were supposed to still be following, and like he like waved and was like, okay. But we wanted to say like thank you, like, oh my god, like thank you so much for every like this whole thing that you just gave us. Like he just whisked us away and took us on this magical journey that we had no idea was coming up. And then he just like waves and goes and like walks away real fast, and we're like, wait, like I have to hug you. And he doesn't. He's just like waving over his shoulder, and he's just like. But I assume since he had his briefcase, I think he just got off of work or he was on his way somewhere. He was trying to catch a bus or something. Because when he waved, he dipped out in a hurry.
Yeah.
Like he was leaving, you know, and he was just like waving and like going, like don't follow me, you know, like I'm leaving type of thing. And we're like, okay, you know, but I love you. Like,
it was
and he
so,
just like disappeared
so
off
freaking
into
cool,
the ether,
man.
and we're like, what the fuck just happened?
Like something
like,
magical happened. And there was a bell too that he showed us, a giant bell.
Oh yeah.
A giant bell. And he's like, I can present to you this bell. And I'm like, okay, that's a very large bell.
It's a very large bell.
And he was like, each Nissan Yon, go. Go, 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 go. And I'm like, 5. There's 5 bells. This is the 5th of 5 bells. And he's like, oh, sweet. Okay, why? But why are there 5 bells? I don't know why. I wish I understood what the 5 bells were for.
Yeah.
But I got that there was 5 of them.
Yep.
Maybe throughout the country. Maybe throughout Kyoto. I still don't.
Maybe in that park.
No.
We don't know.
No freaking idea.
There's at least 5 bells around. We know that.
But the culmination of the story, we go to, in this park, there's a little ice cream shop, and they had black ice cream, which I was like, I'm totally getting black ice cream. So the guy that worked at the ice cream shop spoke English. Not like the best English ever, but enough. He spoke enough English, and we were like, oh, can you please help us? This man took us on a journey, showed us these things in this park, and we have no idea what it is. Can you please help us from photos? Can you help us figure out what we just saw? Do you know what these things are? And he was like, I've never seen these things in the park. Where were you? And we're like, it was by the cemetery, whatever, in the woods. We went in the woods. We don't even know. And some of the kanji was so old that he's like, I don't even know what this kanji is. I can look it up because they have like some kind of like translators for older kanji. And
yeah, he essentially had to like Google that specific symbol on his phone. He pulled up his phone, which is real weird looking at a Japanese phone with all the Japanese kanji and him flipping through the keyboard. I was like, that's really weird. But he had to like search that specific symbol to figure out what it was because it was super old. And he was like, that's not even one that's used anymore.
But it's cool that he figured it out, because between that, the symbol that he pulled up, it was like Honan or something, I think was his name. And then looking at the photos of the shrine and the little plaque and everything like that, he determined that, so I guess the way he described it is, back in the olden days, Buddhism was only for the privileged. It was for the people that had money, affluence, or whatever. They were welcome to participate in this version of religion, which is so ironic because with Buddhists, you would not think that it would be focused on that. But apparently, when it first came into being, it was like if you could afford to be a part of this, then you were welcome to this religion. Which I do need to do a little more research to find out what the actual logistics of that is. But this is what we were told at the very least. I'll just tell you what I was told. And said that there was a man, Honan, who was at that cave and said he had a vision. He had a vision there at that cave, and he was told by some kind of, spirit guide or whatever that it was important that Buddhism was spread throughout the land and that everybody was able to participate in this religion. So apparently this is the actual specific place that he had this vision and spread the word, and then the religion, I don't know if it's just very specifically Buddhism or if it was like a offshoot of it, but like Honan version or whatever, that he perpetuated that, and now that's like as we know it.
Yeah, he like made it available to the masses, and like that was where it struck him and hit him. And then the grave, like the headstone that we saw, was from some Buddhist master, and that headstone was a very sacred one that they watch over, and it was hidden behind that dojo specifically to be taken care of. But
how long did it? I think they said it was like almost 1,000 years old.
Yeah, I think it was like 1,100 years old.
Super, super duper.
Yeah, it was old. It had been there for a long time, for sure. I think it was 1,100.
So that.
Yeah, but that was the most magical
awesome.
journey. Like, it was so weird. Like, we're just there, and this little old man just like waves, and he's like, "Come on!" And then he takes us on this magical journey through places that we never would have found on our own. Like, we were literally trekking through a forest, and like over the little creeks, and like stepping on these little wood boards and stuff. We got to see all these like the dojo and all these shrines and stuff, and then like he takes us back and we circle back around to the park where we began, and he just disappears off into the distance, and we're like, what just happened? Like, it was like our heads were just spinning, like, what? Like,
we were like, we feel like that was really special.
Yeah,
that was so special.
that was one of the most special things that's ever happened.
Just that
sure,
this man saw that we were worthy, even though we couldn't communicate with him with traditional language. He kind of like scoped us out and felt like we were worthy of seeing something so sacred.
Yeah, he was like, come look at this thing.
Which I really am very honored, very honored to have been invited to something that is so sacred to their culture. Because you'd think that's like, this is a secret hiding place surprise thing that visitors don't come see. This is for those of us that are part of this temple or whatever. But I don't know how many other people saw it. Maybe this guy just like gives people tours all the time, or maybe it was the only time ever that happened. Like, we might have been the only tourists that happened to have gone back there. Like, it was like over boards through the woods and shit. So like, if you didn't have somebody showing you, like, I don't think anybody would have really even thought to go trekking in the woods like that.
Yeah, no,
it's not something you would ever stumble upon.
Nope, not at all. Oh, Carl Aurelius in Croatia. All right, I'm intrigued. I definitely want to hear about that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, when it comes, strangers, you must see this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really nice of him to share. Like, it makes me want to do that for somebody at some point. If I'm ever somewhere where there's like something cool that's like tucked away, it'd be really funny just to like pretend like you don't know English and just like wave somebody over and be like, let me show you this thing. Especially kids or something, they're just gonna be like, oh wow, and then you just disappear and let them go. If you can just
that
like
sounds awesome.
back into the woods and disappear, they'd be like,
yeah, it was so cool. It was so I don't know
cool.
who this guy was or what on earth happened, but it was still to this day, I think of it as one of the most profound experiences. And I do have it somewhere on video.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, now that we're talking about it, I do need to find a Japanese person that can watch this video with us.
Yeah.
And decode what on earth was happening, like, in detail.
Yeah.
So
We'll have to call Kay. We should interview Kay.
Maybe we should. Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be super cool.
You're right. I think we should. We should have him on. That would be so cool.
Yeah. I don't know what the time difference would be for him. Whatever.
I don't know, but you're right. That would be really cool. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him on because he was so much fun. But I do want somebody to watch that and help decode it for me. Oh, that's so wonderful that you had a similar type of magical experience.
Oh, that's awesome, Carl. Cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I would love to hear it. Yeah, it's just so magical for somebody to share something like that. Oh, super cool. Just the random people that you meet while you're traveling, that you get kindness from places that you just don't even expect it. You know, like freaking in Greece, George. Like, I will always remember George.
Yeah.
And like he was just selling like rachi, which is their alcohol, and he had a little stand out in the middle of nowhere, and it said like rachi, and then like cherry rachi, and we're like, cool. So we stopped because we were like, we need alcohol.
Oh yeah, and it was like olive oil too and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like,
olive oil.
Cool, okay.
But it was a little like shack of a stand. Okay. When we were out in the middle of nowhere on Crete, and we saw that and we just stopped. We hit the brakes immediately, and it's like this convertible car that we had rented, and there's 4 of the most ridiculous looking Americans you've ever seen in this car ever, and we hit the brakes and back up, and we go over there in this little like wooden stand, and the dude running it is George, and he owns a what was it, an olive vineyard? Is that the word? Olive crop. But he made olive oil and he made rachi, and we bought olive oil, which was amazing. I think he had a vinegar too that we got, but his rachi, he just wanted us to taste it, and when we got there he had like 2 friends just sitting there with him, which they weren't working, they were just hanging out with him drinking his alcohol basically, and we show up and they've got a good buzz going, they're super happy, they're like, hey, and like we walk up and they're like, oh my god, like, hello, like, welcome, and he was like, just like, hey, you want rachi? And we're like, yeah, and like he pours all of us little shots, and like we got to choose whether we wanted cherry or regular, and you know, so we tried all of them, but we were just talking about what we were doing for the day and where we're going and his thing, and he just kept being like, you want the rachi? And would just like he kept poking shots at us, and at one point we just had to be like, alright, we have to go, but we're gonna buy some of these. So we bought rachi and we went to the beach that we were going to and did the whole thing and stayed over there, and we stayed a night out there, and then we came back, and when we came back he was there to stand again, and we're like, oh sweet, so we're like, skirt, and pulled back over, and we walk up and he's like, hey, you want rachi? And we're like, yeah we do. So he poured us more shots, and we all had shots of rachi and drank his homemade alcohol, which was, you know, it's rough. It's like a clear grain alcohol, and it's, you know, it's like somewhere between vodka and Everclear. Not quite Everclear, but a little more than vodka, I feel like. And it's rough, but
that's the drink though out there.
That's the drink.
And they give it to you for free pretty much at almost every restaurant you go to. They just give you free rachi at the end.
Yeah. Actually, I guess it's not really between vodka and everything. It's kind of like a Greek sake. Like, it's kind of sake-esque.
Okay.
That's how I felt about it.
But some of it kind of was very rubbing alcohol.
Some of it was very rubbing alcohol. Yeah.
So that.
His cherry one was good though. It was not bad.
I tried a little bit and it was way too much.
Yeah.
For me.
Not good for you.
Oh man, yeah, they made oil and vinegar too, and I got the vinegar because I love vinegar. So we got oil and vinegar for some bread, and man, the vinegar was like, never had homemade vinegar before.
Yeah, that was
and it was like super fucking intense. It was like alcoholic, pretty much.
Yeah.
Vinegar.
It was like, it burned.
We were like, whoa, man, that was not what I was expecting at all.
Oh yeah, Krista, kind of like grappa. A little bit like grappa. Yep.
It was rough. But the guy just kept like giving us stuff, and he's just like the nicest guy. So it's those random people that you meet along the way that
Just
you'll
random acts of
never
kindness.
forget. It's awesome. It's so awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, and it became a saying. The "you want Rachi" was just that was our phrase for that whole trip. You want
So he just
Rachi.
give it to you for free if you just hang out with him. He just keeps giving you little shots of
You
it.
could just hang out and get drunk, which was that was fun.
Great.
I wasn't driving till later.
Yeah.
No, I was driving. I'm lying.
Yeah, you were, but you
I was.
knew better than to
Yeah.
get a little crazy. And you can drink in cars. Not the driver, but passengers are legally allowed to drink in cars out there, which is, I mean, honestly, it totally makes sense to me. I don't know why people that are passengers can't drink. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But out there, they're like, no, you can totally just drink it up in the back seat. So Tavia and Avery were just like
Backseat had all kinds of
partying hard, man. It was good.
Definitely.
It was super fun. But
Okay.
yeah, that's one of our lovely Crete stories.
One
Oh
of
my
the Crete
goodness.
stories. I know. I was just thinking, we've been going for almost 2 hours, and we're still in Japan.
Still in Japan.
We've hit so many places. How many countries have we hit?
I don't know. We could count right now.
We should count.
Okay.
Can we go in order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, Japan,
Japan.
South Korea, because we hit South Korea on the way back.
Yeah.
It was only like a 7-hour layover, but we got to hang out in South Korea a little
Wandered around Seoul.
bit. Wandered around. And so then after that, we went to England.
Mm-hmm.
And then we flew from England to Italy. And then we did Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And then we we did Scotland. Another time we went back to London, did Scotland, Ireland, and Netherlands.
Yeah.
So the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And then I believe we've been to London like 5 times. We've been to like a bunch of places from there. And then Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Estonia. I'm pretty sure.
Iceland.
And Iceland.
It's 13. 13 countries.
13 abroad countries, not
Abroad.
including.
Yeah, not
like,
including Canada. So
Yeah,
14
yeah.
with Canada.
Yeah,
And then you've done Mexico and
and Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Not too shabby.
Not
14's not bad.
too shabby.
And really, for me, like, it was in no time. Because we went to Japan. That was my first time ever leaving the country, ever. And we did that in 2013. And then our last trip that we took was in 2019. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. 2019.
So in 6 years. Wow, in 6 years we hit freaking 14 countries.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Okay, so from that
Yeah.
list, everybody who is present in the chat right
Yeah.
now, where do you guys want to hear a
What
story
countries do
from
you
next?
Care about?
Because I will tell you stories. So I would like to
we got
take a
stories from all.
vote. Let's take a vote.
I was like, if we run through all of them, we're gonna be here all night long. We got 2 hours, and we just barely touched on Japan. There was so much.
I
in
know. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's true. But that's cool.
Japan.
We're like, yeah, we got to think about something we can talk about for a
Yeah.
long time. And we,
Yeah,
we,
what can we
did,
talk
we didn't
about?
even make it a
Well, we love travel. We could talk about traveling. Yeah. Ireland and Scotland were super cool. Freaking Norway.
So cool.
Estonia. We learned in Estonia that doors. There's some amazing doors out there. Just old school doors.
I took a
Didn't-
whole.
Didn't know I cared
thing.
about
Let
doors.
me see if
but
I can find
a lot of
some
good
photos.
doors. Didn't know anything about Estonia, but we were going to be. We were doing, Finland, Norway, Sweden, and while we were staying in Helsinki, our friend was like, "Dude, while you're there, you got to take the ferry over to Estonia," and we're like, "We can do that? Cool, okay." The only thing I know of Estonia is that the Encino Man is from there.
Yeah, that's all. I
It's
mean, I
from
hate to say it, but that's all I had
Estonia.
heard
Yeah.
about it at all. So okay, Whitney says Iceland and Greece.
Iceland
So
and
since we're on the topic of Estonia, we're only there for like half a day. So real quick, blaze through that, and then we'll get to Iceland and Greece for sure.
Yeah. We can do that.
Speaking of the doors,
Speaking of
we're
the doors,
talking about the doors of Estonia. Oh my goodness
Not the
gracious!
band.
Yes, not the band. But I took a whole photo shoot of the doors in Estonia. This is a medieval. It used to be a walled city, and they had the most ornate and unique and beautiful doors that I've ever seen. Look at this. This is original wood. It's original old fucking wood doors. It was crazy.
that was a good door.
Love it.
Yeah.
Look at that fucking door.
Look at
Oh
that
my
guy, dude.
god. Doors. Oh man. There's just so many
Wait,
good
go back
doors.
Go back to the red one. Let's get back. Yeah, look at that. That's ornate.
It's so ornate.
Ornate as hell. Super cool. Okay.
Super freaking cool.
Yeah, and they all had like rivets and hand carving and like all kinds of cool stuff on them. That was just
That's
old.
an old tower door. That's
Oh.
crazy. Haha. I like that guy. He looks
Yeah.
like he's like, oh, welcome to the Estonia restaurant. There's a cat on the ceiling with some
Yeah.
real cool doors behind it.
Well, cat on the ceiling.
Damn. Look at this mofo.
If you do this back.
Wow. Damn.
That's pretty good molding
That's
on that
pretty
door.
good, man.
Right, Whitney? Those are good doors. Like I said, we didn't think we cared about doors, but we're just walking around and we're like,
I lost the
man,
other.
all of these doors are epic. Like every door we're walking by is like, wow.
Dude, look
We're-
at that shit. It was like,
We're
what?
failing on our door game here in
I
the
know.
States.
I know. Oh man, it was so beautiful.
Oh, a door above a door?
Double doors. Assholes.
I adore
Tag
doors.
that door.
Shut the door to doors.
That was so. Oh, this one was really neat too. Cause it was so freaking old. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah,
I
it had
felt
all
like.
those little mold things on them.
Yeah, I felt like I
Little
was in
dots.
some kind of like old timey movie or something like that. It was just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Estonia.
Estonia
And we
was
stayed in the-
so fucking cool.
The old town of Estonia. Is that a skull above the door? A
I
skull
don't
up
think so.
Oh, it's a creepy baby head. That's fun.
Ew.
Yeah, we stayed in the old town in Estonia, and it was freaking cool.
It
We
was-
didn't know what to expect, but it was this little like historic little region, and they had a restaurant that was like it was like medieval themed restaurant, and
Oh
you
my
go
God,
in and it's
it
like
was so
traditional
cool.
medieval style restaurant. So, like one of the things we ordered, she was asked if we wanted soup with our food or whatever. And we're like, yeah, so we got soup, and it was in a big gigantic like wooden barrel next to it with a ladle. Oh, sorry. And she literally ladled it out into our hand molded, just like terracotta clay pot bowl, and then the cups and stuff, all the dishware was like terracotta molded, and the lights, it was all candle lit, and the only thing that was somewhat modern was the toilet in the bathroom, but it was still all wooden, like the little wooden box with the hole in it with
Let's
just like
see
a
if I
pull
can
cord
find
over
that
it.
post.
But
It was so freaking
Yeah.
cool. Let me see if I can find that specific.
that restaurant
from
was
that
super
restaurant.
cool.
Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Okay, I got you guys. Don't even
Oh,
worry.
you got it? Okay,
Don't
good.
even worry.
Don't even worry. I
Oh
know
my
you're
God,
worried.
This place was so fucking
Don't
cool.
worry.
Okay. So this one, it's called Dracon 3.
Even I can't tell what that picture is. What is
So this is like behind the counter. This is the tap here.
Oh,
And
okay.
it had cider and some kind of just ale or whatever.
Gotcha.
And you are here by your own free will, it says. And they had this was the clay pots that you drank out of.
Yeah, like their mugs.
We were there with Trish and Greg, our friends.
Our friends.
This was the lovely person who was our server lady. who totally was dressed so cute and looked like a witch person.
Yeah, she did. She was super nice.
That was good.
Oh, not that. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
And it was all candlelit. There was no electric
all
light
fires.
in there,
The toilet.
which was
Super
spooky.
classy. Yeah.
That was in the bathroom. That was the sink.
This is the sink and the toilet. A little
That was
water spout.
crazy.
That was fun. Yes. Oh, there you go. There's the toilet.
Very awkward,
Yeah.
strange
With a
toilet
little like wood
situation.
slat.
Yep.
Thing.
It was strange.
Yeah.
Ugh, such a cool town.
Super cool town though.
It was so awesome and so old. There we go. Yep.
So,
Oh yeah, sausage, ox meat.
Yeah,
That
so
was
it's the
just-
little
it was
tap
crazy.
handles. Okay. Yeah, it was like I don't know what's happening in that photo. Yep.
It was
And they
so
had
cool.
meats and they had pickles. But it was
Yeah, big pickles in a
Actually,
jar.
where's the? Let's see if I can find the website. I'll share it.
It's a DRAKKON3. Yeah, it was really super neat. And yeah, we only spent the day. We just took the boat over from Helsinki, and it was like so neat.
It's 2 A's, not 2 K's.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my bad. And I actually got a tattoo there. I got this tattoo in Estonia. I got a traveling tattoo arm, and that just seemed like a great place to do it. This lovely lady saw me walking down the street and was like, "Oh, hi, you look really fun. Do you want a tattoo?"
Do
And
you
I
want
was
a tattoo?
like, "Probably." I was like, "Let's talk about prices. Like, let's see here."
Yeah, man.
And it was awesome. It was kind of like a little bit of a questionable situation.
What?
It wasn't like necessarily a full-blown like tattoo shop like we know out here, but also I'm not out here, so I was trying to go with the flow. And the tattoo artist Angel was super nice, and I told her I wanted a traditional Estonian symbol, something that you see carved around there, something that's an old symbol. So I got that, and I am very glad that I did. It was great.
Yeah, that was that was funny. She just came out and she was like, "Oh, do you want a tattoo? You look like you might want a tattoo."
It's not Vigvisir, which is on my list of something to get. Actually, absolutely is on my list. But here, I'll get a little closer to show you. There we go. It's just a old like Balkan style symbol that was just kind of carved on different stuff around town. We looked up some stuff. She's like, it's very old. You see it in a lot of places. And I was like, that's a beautiful symbol. I love it. Let's do it. Which actually I wanted to get the Vigvisir when I was in Scandinavia, and specifically in Norway. But where I was at in Norway, there was nothing, especially tattoo shops. There was not tattoo shops. We were in very remote area for sure. So unfortunately that didn't end up working out, because I was really looking forward to doing that at some point. But it's okay, because that just wasn't the nature of that trip. We were in Lapland, which was like super remote stuff, where tattoos are not a big thing around those parts. Even like any kind of tourist shop, there was like no tourist shops at all, except for like, God, there was like one, where was it at? Oh, it was at the Viking Museum in Norway.
Oh yeah.
The Viking Museum,
Oh yeah, they had a little shop.
they had
Which
a
had some
little
cool
shop.
stuff.
So I was like, okay, this is my chance to get
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it was there, and then it was at where we got the hand warmers at the big giant waterfalls.
That was in Iceland.
Oh, that was Iceland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, another place with no
Iceland,
no
similarly,
tourist
with
anything.
very minimal tourist
Lots of middle of nowhere.
stuff. Yes, yes, lot of middle of nowhere. And since you want to know about Iceland, we can definitely, if I can go into that, since that was a perfect segue.
Oh, and he wants a Vigvisir
to
too.
it.
Everybody's gonna
That's
get
so
matching
awesome.
Vigvisir tattoos.
I think it's fantastic, because it's for anybody that doesn't know, it's the symbol that is kind of like the compass for, even if you don't know where you're going, you're always protected. So you will always find your way, no matter where you're going, even if you don't know where you're going. And that's great because sometimes I don't know where the fuck I'm going. That's adventure. That's the
adventure.
nature of adventure. You're going, and
Yeah.
what
I'm
is
gonna get
next? Who
somewhere.
knows? But it's to keep you on your path, whatever that path may be. And I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Iceland, Whitney, gorgeous. I always start out by saying it's the most alien landscape I've ever seen in my entire life. So freaking weird, because like it's all epic. It's another one like kind of like Norway, where everything you see is just like epic. Like the landscape is epic. That's the only way I can describe it. But in Iceland, we were driving from basically from the airport to Reykjavik, and you're going through the middle of nowhere. It's like a 20-minute drive or something like that, 20-30 minutes, something like that. But you're driving and it's just like lava fields, like as far as your eye can see. But it's all covered in the thickest, most lush, most neon green moss you've ever seen.
Oh my god, it's so
it's just
beautiful.
like this black lava rock covered in all this, like, just a blanket of moss. And then there's freaking like geysers, and like there's just little off on the horizon you'll just see like steam like psst, like going up over here and like going up over here because it's all geothermic. Totally alien landscape. It is the most weirdest. Like I told her, I was like, where did we land? Like this is not Earth. Like this is trippy.
It was a very unique place for sure.
It was the first time I ever got to drive a motorhome. They'll just rent you a giant RV without even asking if you've ever driven one. Like, so if you ever want to learn,
That unfortunately
just
is
go rent
true.
one. It's good. And yeah, he gave me a key and was like, there you go, good luck. Like, okay. So we rented an RV, and my oldest sister went with us, and just the three of us. We stopped at a grocery store on the way out, and then we dipped out to go see all the stuff that we wanted to see. And it's extremely expensive, so I'm glad we stopped at that grocery store and picked everything up. And I'm glad we had our own little kitchen.
Especially because there was like no restaurants or nowhere to eat while we were driving around.
Nowhere to go anyway.
We figured because it is known as a touristy destination, maybe it's not going to be blown out like resorts and shit, thank God. But like we thought that there would at least be some restaurants or something along
one bar.
Yeah, there was. It was long stretches of
tiny
nothing.
Little towns, and they wouldn't have anything in them, like just houses and a school.
Yeah, there was not much.
Oh, the
to see.
freaking
the basalt columns.
Yeah, the basalt columns. Zoom in on that.
Oh man.
So for scale, that's us standing on these rocks, and they're all the octagonal shaped. Super cool.
So freaking cool.
But yeah,
and that beach was
all the lava. That beach was all lava beach, like black rock. And there you go. There's the lava rock covered in moss.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. But
that's magical.
Super cool, but super sparse. And
yeah, that was like, this is like the biggest town around. This was Vik.
Yeah.
And this was it. There was a church, and there was like a couple houses.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
That was it.
The little houses covered in grass was awesome.
But it was super cool. Waterfalls everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh, we went to a hot springs. And this was at night. There was a geyser, like a small geyser at the hot springs. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So whenever you're going, you start looking at all the touristy stuff. There's hot springs that they point you to that are like the main ones, like the main tourist attraction hot springs. And they're blown out and they're kind of weird, and they're not even all natural anymore. Like some of them were paved to where there's like cement bottoms and stuff. They're all geyser fed, but it's like overly manicured really. But we found this other one where it was a natural hot spring, and it's just a giant hot pool, and you're just like hanging out. It's like a pond, I guess, like pond size, and it's natural bottom, but it's all hot spring, and it's just steamy, and it was cold, and we went and got in. It was awesome, and there was a geyser right off to the side of it.
Yeah, it was just a geyser.
It was a little bitty guy, but it shot up to like 6 or 7 feet high, and I was like, oh, there's a geyser. And it was trippy how hot it would be. There was like hot and cold spots as the water was like moving around, and you'd be going through, and you'd be like, oh, it's getting a little warm. You're just like swimming around, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, wow, it's really hot, and you just have to like keep going. Like, okay, we're gonna go over here for a second and get into like the cooler water, and like because some of it is super hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could feel it just coming out. You could just feel it.
Oh, and the horse. Go back to the little horse.
Oh man, the Icelandic horses are so cool,
so
dude.
These are the largest mammals on Iceland at all. There's these little mini horses, and they're super cute.
They're so squatty. They're like shorter and squatty, and they're really like furry.
Yeah.
Kind of. They're more furry.
Yeah, you can see he's got chops on his face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
They're,
and
like,
they're really, really friendly. So if you pull off on the side of the road, they'll like come right up through the fence and just be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you could give them grass. You could pick grass and give it to them, and they love it. It was so cute.
Yeah, we pulled over because these two guys were like hanging out eating grass, but they were like, we wanted to feed them, and they were poking around and just kind of like sniffing, and we finally realized that they didn't want to eat the grass that we were poking at them because it was dead, and all they had was dead grass. So we walked away from the fence a little bit because they had reached under and eaten all the grass they could, and we found live grass and picked up like bundles of the green stuff and held it over, and they were so happy. And they were just like the happiest horses and like just mowing down on it. They loved us. We got to pet them and hang out. They were cute.
It was adorable.
But yeah, they're the largest mammals, and then there's no poisonous snakes or anything. There's no killer anything on the island. Like, it's super safe. Like, no kind of bears, no nothing. So, the craziest thing you're gonna have walk up on you is gonna be a horse. Like, even all their bugs and stuff, like, they don't really have poisonous much of anything.
Yeah, it's
I don't even think
so
they had a
remote.
poisonous spider.
It's super far out.
Yeah.
So unless somebody brought it over, it's pretty much not there.
Yep.
That's not there, which is so cool.
Or a polar bear shows up and they shoot it.
Oh yeah, that would be not good. So this was really, really, really neat. This is one of the only places on the surface of the Earth that you can actually walk in between two tectonic plates.
Yeah.
This is right in between the two tectonic plates. Most of the plate separation is in the Atlantic Ridge, and it's all underwater. And this is visible, and it's separating like every 70 years, like an arm length, they said.
Yeah.
But I think this side is the North American plate, and this is the Eurasian plate. And that was just so cool. There are parts where it goes under the water in Iceland where you can do a scuba diving tour, and you can go down there and scuba dive in between the two plates. But that was a big deal for me. That was really, really cool because I'm such a geology loser nut. So, and now these photos, they're not great, but I took them myself of the aurora.
Our first aurora.
Show you right now because I zoomed out too far. Yes, this was our first aurora. We were there in Iceland for, I think it was 4 nights. And
was that it? Really?
Yeah, because we did the whole other trip beforehand. We did the East Coast. We went to Salem, and we went to Philly and Maine. We did a whole thing, and we just took like a few days. We're like, we'll just do like 4 nights.
Yeah.
And the first 3 nights,
like longer than that.
all I wanted to see was the fucking aurora. Like, it's all I wanted in my whole life. All I wanted. And we even like drove around at night, going to see if we could see it. I'm watching all the aurora numbers, and I'm like, dude, it's out there somewhere. I know it is. On our first night there, actually, I could see a little bit of a glow behind this waterfall, and it was glowing, but it was not like seeing the aurora. So I was like, I feel like I kind of saw a little bit of something. Come to find out, we met some other travelers, and they had a great display. We just couldn't see it from where we were at.
Yeah.
So if we would have went and drove around, we would have had luck, but we didn't. But on the last night, we got to see it. And I have to say, I was really excited that one of my friends randomly, friend from San Diego, who Krista, actually, you remember, Blaze from San Diego, I see he was posting on Facebook that he's in Iceland. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, no fucking way. Like, you're in Iceland, I'm in Iceland, and I'm messaging him, and he didn't get back to me right away because I have service wherever I go with my T-Mobile service, but he had to wait until he was in Wi-Fi or whatever. Come to find out, both of us were car camping in the same campground. I don't know what you call it or whatever. It's not really a campground, I guess.
Campground.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the same campground in that little town
RV
Vic
park.
that I showed you. Yeah. At the same time.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we
in that
didn't
little
know
bitty town that we showed you, that was the whole town.
Yeah.
And then right off camera, there was like a little parking lot, RV parking and camper van parking.
And that's where we
were
stayed,
in the
and
same thing.
Blaze had stayed there as well, which was crazy. So we were like, oh, let's meet up, let's do some stuff. We ended up meeting up, and he is an Arctic explorer. One of his jobs is he goes on these Arctic adventures and is like a tour guide. Sure. And so he's seen Aurora a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
So he's hanging out with us on our last night there, and I'm looking at the numbers, the Aurora numbers, and I'm like, oh man, it looks like the numbers went up, like there should be some Aurora. And I go outside and I'm like, I don't fucking see shit. And he's like, wait. He's like, wait, look at these, they look like clouds, but it's not clouds. And I'm like, but they're white. And he's like, yeah, this is like the beginning. It's like not super strong right now, but I'm telling you, watch them. They'll kind of come in, and then all of a sudden they'll just disappear. And I'm like, okay. So we're watching, and I'm like, all right, okay. This is kind of not as exciting as I was expecting this to be, but like I'm seeing the Aurora, so that's cool, you know? Yeah. And man, the shit just like popped off that night super hard. And it lasted for hours and hours.
Yeah, it went a long time.
It was so fucking awesome. I stood outside, I think it was like 5 hours. Dusty and his sister, at a point, they were out there for a while, and they're like, all right, we got to go to bed. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely not doing that. I will stay out here until the sun starts coming up. Like, I can't walk away from this. I have to stay. So I stayed out there, and it was sad because everybody was in their camper vans and shit, and nobody else was out. I mean, maybe if they were down the other end, and I couldn't see them, or I couldn't hear anybody. It was like a pin drop. You could hear it, and nobody else was there, and it's just me and the Aurora, and I'm trying not to scream out loud. I'm like, like the silent screams, you know. I was really honing that one in. I had to really work on that one. And then a cat walked by at some point, and I was like, oh, hi, do you see what's happening? Like, I'm all talking to the fucking cat because I had nobody else to like share it with at this moment. Oh my god, there was a couple times where I opened the door to the RV, and I was like, it's fucking really awesome right now. I'm just saying, if you want to get up, it's awesome. And then I closed the door, and I just hear nothing. And I'm like, okay, never mind. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. But it was so fucking amazing. And we learned how to take photos on our phones using the pro settings, which obviously is kind of shitty. But, like, I did my best, you know?
Best photos,
actually,
but we got them.
I think there's another photo that might actually be a little bit better that we took from this one. It was... Oh, yeah. But yeah, it was pretty fantastical.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of,
Thing to see. Oh my god. Okay, so we have Chromecast on, and there's just like a slideshow that it does, random slideshow, and
it's this one.
Holy shit. And the photo of this very waterfall
This
is
very
on
waterfall
the TV
just popped
right
up on
now.
our screen.
That's so funny.
Ours is prettier because it's got a
What are the
rainbow.
odds of that?
This one,
That's crazy.
we pulled up at this place at night, and we knew we were aiming to these falls, but we couldn't see them anywhere, and it was all dark. And we pulled up into the little camp, like ground or whatever, and parked, paid our fee, whatever, and it was so dark that we couldn't see anything, but we could hear like the waterfall, and we're like, oh man, it's got to be somewhere pretty close. But we get up in the morning, and it's like right there. Like we're parked
man, it's fucking
right
massive.
at the, like we're facing the river. I pulled up where I stopped. The river was right off the end of it, so we're facing the water, and like right there was this gigantic waterfall, and just had this epic rainbow on it. And we're like, oh my god, like,
It was
what?
so
Like,
awesome.
This is not where I thought that was gonna be. Right
No,
now.
it was
I
great.
didn't know we were under a waterfall.
The night before, that's where I saw the glow. That first night was just on top of that waterfall.
right over that
and
ledge. Yeah.
It was like not the most exciting version of aurora that I've ever seen. But I was still excited. But it was right there. We camped there, and then we woke up and we were like, "Holy shit, man!"
Who knew?
It was
We did
freaking
not know.
awesome. Okay, so let's see. Here is. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I forgot to mute it so you didn't have to see me scrolling through everything. Sorry.
You got to see everything. Identity theft.
Boom. So, yep. Cheap quality, but that's what I saw
But with some.
all night.
Yeah.
All night long, man.
And that was just the beginning of our
Oh my
aurora
God.
experiences.
Look at it go.
But it was actually interesting for me because whenever it started and it was like super faint and you're like, that is not what I was expecting. Honestly, I didn't really expect too much from the aurora. I mean, all the pictures you see, there's more of it going up here. But all the pictures you see of aurora, like, I always thought it was just very, not Photoshop, but like long exposure, like photos, and I thought it was, the only way to get a picture of it was to just have your lens open forever and get it to be super bright. But I didn't know that it would actually look like that in the sky. I thought it was going to be kind of faint. It wasn't going to be anything like I wanted it to be. No, it does that. I didn't know it actually did that.
Yeah.
And
Yep. It did the thing.
those photos that you see they're not all long exposure. Like it does that. And the videos, like when it's moving around and it'll like swirl and it's like doing this whole thing, I always thought that was sped up. I thought it was like time lapse stuff. No. No, it does that. I had no idea. Like it was.
Yeah,
that's
it was
one of the most alien things I've ever seen.
It was
in the
so freaking cool. It was so cool. And I'm glad it was on the last night.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wish we had it multiple nights, let's be fair.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that
Glad that it happened.
it happened, because if I would have gone to Iceland and left and didn't get to see it, and it was the perfect time of year for it too, like it would have been really disappointing. It would have been really sad and disappointing. But it happened. But point is, Blaze, thank goodness Blaze was there, because I probably would have walked out and been like, well, damn it, I can't see shit, and walked back in. I mean, at a point later on in the day, I'm sure, or in that evening, I guess, there would have been no denying it, because it did kick up so much. You could just look out the window and there it was.
Yeah.
So I would have noticed it later, but man, it was something I was really glad that he was there to point it out, so I knew what to look for, and we just stayed and waited, and then all of a sudden it just kicked in,
it
like
blew up.
super
It got
hard.
crazy.
Oh man, it was so fucking cool.
Yeah, Whitney, it's trippy in person. Like, definitely put that on your bucket list. And tickets to Iceland and freaking the Norway tickets that we got were super cheap. How much did we go to Norway for?
We flew into Helsinki, and those tickets I got, they were $312 or whatever round trip. Originally, we were gonna fly into Norway, but then it was cheaper to fly into Finland, so we did that.
Yeah.
But it was $300. Now, because of COVID and because of all the airlines hurting and gas prices are up, I don't know if we're ever gonna get so lucky, at least for a while, to see
It'll
that.
go back. I think once the
I
gas
hope it
gets back
does.
to normal, it'll get back like
I
that.
really hope so, because that was awesome. That was so cheap. It was so freaking amazing. Oh, Carl, I am so grateful I got to spend some time with you both this evening. Spend the day moving an 850-pound air compressor for a friend and feel super tired. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm tired just
Hoping to be back in
that.
Seattle soon. I hope you're back in Seattle soon too, because I love you and I miss you.
Yeah.
And I would
see us.
love to see you. I really hope you come back soon. I really, really do. Thank you for being here. I'm really glad
thanks for
you
hanging
tuned
out
in.
and painting.
We really appreciate
Send us a picture of what you're painting. I know it's something that I'm going to be like, whatever, I'm never doing art again. But
Did Carl say he was painting too? Because I know Krista said she was painting.
oh, that
I
was
don't know.
Krista was painting.
Yeah, yeah.
Krista, send us your picture too. Your flowers you've been doing, I really liked.
Yeah, we need to
what are
see
the little
everybody's.
purple ones with the black and white spots? Saffron? No, saffron.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I forgot what they look.
But either way, Carl, we love you.
Yes, we love you, Carl.
We love you. Thank you for coming. Come back soon.
Yeah. Bears and cornhole games. Bears love cornhole.
Watch out for
actually.
bears cornholes.
Yeah. Watch out for the bears cornholes.
Oh man. Well, looks like we're down to
We just got a few. Got a few people.
We got Whitney
and lurkers.
and we got potentially some lurkers. Oh, hi, Justin. Justin's lurking.
Wait.
Hi.
What? You're not listed on our list.
I know, that's weird. You
It
didn't
doesn't
show up
say
on the
you're here.
list. That's really strange.
Oh,
Aw,
no,
well,
sorry.
thank you. Thank you for having us on. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
how
I
are you
love
top
Justin.
secret? How come you're not on our list?
I know. Do you have a cloaking device on right
Oh.
now? Because it does not show you
Then
there.
how many
That's
other
crazy.
people are cloaked?
I don't know.
Dude, well, we got like 1,000
Identify
people
yourselves.
watching. We have like 1,000 people watching, but we can't tell.
And of course, Justin comes in for the travel fucking
Yeah.
episode too, which is kind of funny.
Yep, travel episode. You don't care. You can probably just leave. I don't know why.
But you get to hear through our eyes how amazing that
You don't have
we
to
think
travel.
it
You
is.
can hear it
It's
from
great.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll tell you. It's fine. Robot restaurant. Awesome.
Oh my god. How long have you been in? What have you heard? Did you just hear Iceland? Did you hear Estonia, Justin? Did you hear Japan?
Yeah, we'll travel for you. We got it.
Yes. Yeah. I'll do the thing for you.
Mhm.
But yeah. How long have you been in?
Yeah. We've just been battling.
Yeah, we're
just
babbling about shit.
Babbling about traveling.
Okay, Whitney, you want to see more Iceland? Look at these little tiny houses.
Oh yeah, look at the tiny houses.
Covered with grass. It was the cutest thing. It was like a little museum
A little-
that was
yeah,
right next to the big waterfall that we camped at that first night. It was like 0.5 miles away. There's this awesome like heritage museum with these little tiny grass houses. It's awesome.
All right, costume battling. Good.
Aw, thanks for listening. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I love you. Oh my god, look how cute these little grass houses are. Oh my god. It was so
Yeah, they're super short.
fucking cute.
And then there's a couple steps down whenever you walk into them, and some of them, not all of them, but some of them like step down that were built into the ground. Super cool.
It was so cool. There's just
And
some
old.
skulls hanging out, which was neat. Yeah, I just thought it was the cutest thing. I always wanted to see the little grass-covered houses, and it was just fucking adorable. And they weren't even like super duper old. They were probably like 100 years old or something.
Yeah,
like
not
that.
super old. But that's right. That was Iceland, not freaking Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it was very, very, very neat. And Iceland was just, it was so magical. Everything was just so different than anything we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Like, it just was like nowhere else I've ever been. Yeah, it's kind of like a little
Yeah, they're
hobbit
like
hole.
hobbit holes. Definitely hobbit hole. Oh yeah, there's me trying to stand up in one. They're super
Yep.
short.
And
Sandy
there's
did
me
that.
standing up with plenty of space over my head, which was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so, 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 so cool. That was really neat to see this like little like traditional style of building out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. And there's these little teeny tiny fairy houses or
Oh, yeah.
gnome houses or whatever. They build them for it's the gnomes, right? The gnomes and the fairies, basically. Like, it's kind of funny because if you actually ask people if they really believe in the gnomes and fairies out there, they will be like, no, it's just folklore. But they still put these little houses up because it is a traditional thing.
Yeah, and
to,
these are little tiny. I don't know if you can tell the scale or not, but these are little like 6 inches tall.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah, tiny little like gnome house that somebody built just tucked away in the corner.
Yeah, so the average people, they don't actually specifically, I mean, maybe some people do, I don't know. But it's not like they
Tavia does.
legitimately think that they're out there, but they build them anyway for them, which I think is just so cute.
Oh, that's fun.
I love it. I freaking love it.
Fairy houses,
It's so great.
gnome
Well,
homes. It's
we
a
got-
gnome home.
We got to see crazy glaciers on top of these huge volcanoes,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just so fun. It was so, so, so fun. So yeah, I really dug that that part of the trip.
Yep, that was fun.
But there was nothing. It was not touristy.
Yeah.
It was like, so when we got there, we went to Reykjavik to go get provisions, to go get food and stuff for the journey, and it was fantastic. It was great that we went there and got that stuff, and we were like walking around the town, and it's a pretty artsy little town. Oh, thank you for the bits, Whitney. You are so sweet. Yay.
Hey.
We'll take them. Thank you.
Thanks. Hooray, Hobbit Hole.
Yay. Thank you. But yeah, so that was the only like actual civilization that we were in the entire time, was in Reykjavik.
Yeah.
And it was just that afternoon just to go get some food. Good thing we had the RV to be able to cook the food in, because we would have realized very quickly if we were like doing any other, like, I don't know, let's go to a hotel or something. If we tried to figure that out, there's not really a thing.
Nope.
So it would have been quite difficult. But yeah, that was the only civilization.
We would have had to make lasagna on the stove.
Yep, like we did in Italy that one time.
We had stovetop lasagna in Italy because nothing was working.
Good. Yeah.
And
on Christmas. That was our Christmas dinner.
Yeah, right before the Pope ruined Christmas.
Yep.
That's when that happened.
100%.
Yeah.
Every time the oven was on, it kept tripping the breaker in the apartment.
Yeah.
So we were with some friends, and we made lasagna on a stovetop, which was not optimal, I'll tell you that much. But, okay, so this is the Black Sand Beach. I'm going to try to pronounce it, I'm probably going to fail. Rienfinara Beach. That's a hard one. It's Black Sand Beach, and there's basalt columns, so there's all this awesome visuals here. We've got this cave of basalt columns.
Column cave. What?
And since I love geology so much, I just thought this was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so awesome. Yeah. And that right there, this is called the sea penis. That is its official name. They call it the sea penis. I mean, obviously it's in Icelandic, but the translation is sea penis. Lots of phallic symbols around there. Yeah. So I thought that was fun. We got a sea penis.
Always sea penis.
And that was me in the cave. Yeah. Which was so fun. Oh my god, it was so awesome. One thing that was a little spooky though is right when you're walking up to the beach, there are signs that say to watch out for sneaker waves.
Oh, sneaker waves. Bum, bum, bum.
Which I was not too familiar with sneaker waves before. They are essentially rogue waves that come in and they suck people out to sea. Yep. Legitimately. It's a problem.
Yeah, and apparently it happens fairly often. They had a story on the sign that was telling us about it, about a lady that came out. It wasn't even very long before we were there, but she came out and was a tourist and was taking a picture of the cave or something like that, and a sneaker wave got her and sucked her out to sea, and she was gone.
Yeah, and they're like, it's been 82 days since the last incident or whatever. Like, they're like, listen, we're not fucking around. Like, sneaker waves, they come get people. It is really fucked up. So I was a little on edge.
Watch the ocean.
I was a little on edge.
Yeah.
But this, I saw beautiful sunset.
Super cool sunset.
Oh my goodness. From a black sand beach. Not the same one, this is a different one.
On one of the windiest days ever. But that was just around the peak.
Oh my god.
Just past the penis rock. Sea penis.
The ocean gets hungry. It certainly does.
That it does.
But it's messed up because they just come in so fast and just suck people out. Oh, and there's not much that you can do. I mean, if you're close enough to the basalt columns, you can climb up them and get away. But if your back is turned or whatever, like, you're pretty fucking screwed.
Oh man, that jetty. My goal was to get out to the end of this jetty, but this was one of the windiest days ever. First of all, super windy. And like that jetty's really wide, and those rocks are a lot bigger than they look. Like walking on them was kind of rough, especially when I got out towards the end. But I wasn't able to get to the end of it because it got to the point where the waves are just like crashing, like the whole thing. Like I could feel the rumble in the rocks and like the sprays coming up, and like trying to balance on the giant boulders got scary. Where I was like, okay, if I fall, I'm just gonna fall like in between these rocks, probably. Or I'm gonna get hit by a sneaker wave that just runs up and washes me off of this thing. And like it got intense, but it was so intense that I was like, I can't go to the end right now. Like I don't feel safe going to the end.
No, I didn't feel safe with you going to the end. It was really, really windy.
I got like 3/4 of the way out there. I was close, but I couldn't get to the end.
Yeah. And I bought gloves out there, and I almost lost my glove to the ocean. It had fallen out and was wet, soaked, like it almost got sucked up. And it sucks because
Sneaker wave got my glove.
everything is so expensive in Iceland. Everything. And like I said, the only civilization we were at was in Reykjavik, and I was like, you know what? I didn't bring gloves with me because the weather is supposed to be like, you know, reasonable or whatever. But if it gets windy and if I'm outside all night with the aurora and whatever, like I should have gloves. So I spent like, I think it was like $60 or something on these fucking gloves, which are good gloves. They're good gloves. But I almost lost one in the ocean. I'm so glad that I did it, dude. I'm so glad. Wow.
Oh yeah, Whitney, those rocks were definitely precarious. They got
spooky.
They just got to be boulders out towards the end. It was just a bunch of boulders that I was hopping between.
Yeah, it was
super cool though. I loved it.
A little crazy.
If the waves weren't so crazy and the wind wasn't strong enough to blow me off of the thing, I would have kept going.
I brought back this bird skull. I found a bird skull
Oh, yeah.
on the beach. And
Bird skull on the beach.
and it was kind of awkward dealing with it, but I was able to get it back home without fucking it up, and now it lives on my mantle forever. Hooray.
And then the airport was worried about cheese in our luggage. Not the skulls. We don't really care about the skulls.
No. Yeah, so that was awesome. That was such a great trip. It was so amazing.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a good surprise trip.
And
Surprise, we're going on this.
Yeah, that was actually awesome because we were going to go to Maine for, it was the year after his dad passed away. His dad really wanted to go to Maine. So him and the sisters were like, let's make a trip to Maine in honor of Dad. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. So I was like, all right, if we're going to Maine, we're going to be on the East Coast. Let's take a little time. Let's go to Philly. I've never been to Philly. My family's from Philly, and I've never even been. Let's go to Philly, get some Philly cheesesteaks. And if we're driving to Maine, we have to go right by Salem. So let's go to Salem, Massachusetts. That would be awesome, which was super, super cool. I really totally enjoyed that. And then we made our way up to Maine. But before we went on this trip, I was like, okay, so if we're going to be in Maine, we're going to take this East Coast trip. It's so cheap to fly from the East Coast to Iceland. We should just take like 4 days or whatever and go to fucking Iceland. So that's how we ended up doing Iceland.
Yeah.
Did I go to both places? You know what? We went to Pat's.
Yeah.
We did not end up going to Gino's, I believe.
Was that the one we didn't hit?
Yeah, because there was the two like main ones.
We got a bunch of cheesesteaks.
Yeah, we went to other places that were recommended from locals and stuff like that. But as far as Pat and Gino's, we only went to one.
Yeah.
And it was Pat's because my dad was like,
yeah,
fucking Pat's that's the way to go.
And
he's like, but trust me, there's other ones.
Didn't we try to go to Gino's, but there was just a line forever?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like whenever we went by it, there was one day we had, well, not even one day, it was a couple days, we had 2 cheesesteaks a day because we were like, we're going to try all.
Yeah, we totally ate a lot of cheesesteaks.
I love a Philly cheesesteak. Like, let's see what all of them are like. And we definitely tried a bunch of them. But yeah, the Gino's had that line, and we didn't go.
But we definitely did Pat's, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. And Philly was awesome. Philly was super cool.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool.
Cool vibe. Like, yeah. The history rolling through there. We found a Toynbee tile.
Oh, yeah. Totally. We'd seen Toynbee tiles in New York, but we totally found some in Philly, which was
the cobblestone.
So cool.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really neat, and that's where my dad's whole family is from there. So they came over like Ellis Island style, like way back in the day. My great grandparents came via Ellis Island and then went to Philly and just like set up shop in Philly. And they made the pickle factory, which you know well, Justin, my family's legacy, the pickle factory. And that was big shit back there back in the day, man. It was the big deal. And my dad moved.
Pickles were hot back then.
He moved to Florida, I guess it was, I don't know, 77 or 8 or something like that. So he was there for a long time. You just ate some pickles. All right. Recca. They will never be as good as the Shoepax pickles, though, man. The Shoepax pickles.
Yeah. I do like a good pickle.
Man, I got to get the recipe from my dad and make the real
Dude, the ones your
deal
brother was making
packs,
were really
pickles,
good.
man.
Those were good pickles.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, we should pickle some.
I know we should definitely do, but you got to get the specific kind of cucumbers. My dad was telling me you have to get Kirby cucumbers.
Mm.
It's a specific kind of pickle and cucumber, and that's what makes it a little tricky. Is making sure you find the specific kind
Kirby cucumbers.
of cucumbers. Yeah.
You listening, Justin?
Yep. Kirby's.
Kirby.
My dad's like, it's Kirby's or nothing. Kirby's or bust. You
Kirby's
have
or
to get
death.
Kirby's. I was like, okay. Yep. See, he knows. Can't just be any cucumber. It's true.
Really any.
It's specific. So one of these days, I'm going to find some of these, and I'm going to do it right because I grew up with all the pickles.
We should do that.
I grew up with.
Are we in
the
cucumber
fucking best
season?
of pickles. It might be cucumber
Cucumbers
season.
are happening right now. You can pickle
Yeah,
anything.
you can. You can just pickle anything. That is totally true. Ooh, pickled garlic.
Oh. Mm,
I love garlic in all forms, and I
I
wonder.
could see
bet
myself.
we would do garlic pickles, and so I bet it's a similar type of scenario.
Yeah.
I bet.
Maybe so,
That
yeah.
sounds so good. But it sucks because the pickle factory, the building that the pickle factory was in, that was my family's, is gone. They knocked it down. So, just like piece by man.
Just.
Interesting. I would try it if it was a real good sour dill business going on. I would try it. I'm not the biggest fan of pickled items, just in general, like a pickle itself.
I like pickle
I'm
things.
just very picky because I grew up with my grandfather making pickles, and we always had pickles, and like that's to me that's what a pickle is, and it's hard with other pickles. Sometimes I'm like, it's kind of floppy, it's kind of wobbly, man. Like you're losing me.
Yeah.
It's not really a good pickle, you know.
I'll say I like sweet pickles too. I kind of like any and all pickle. I'm not really the bread and butter pickles. I'm for it. They're awesome.
Really?
Yeah. I'll take any and all of them.
I don't know. Sweet pickles, I hate to say it, but it's only the ones that my grandfather would do. I've never found a sweet pickle afterwards that I liked. He would also do peppers and onions, like sweet peppers and onions,
Yeah.
and they were really, really good, man. They were fucking delicious.
I don't even know how do you make a sweet.
Do you put
pickle?
sugar in it?
Is it? It's just pickled but with sugar?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. They're good. I like the sweet ones. My dad used to chop
Yep.
up the sweet ones and put them in tuna fish. So it'd be like our tuna fish sandwich would have sweet pickles in it.
Yeah.
It was real good instead of apples or whatever. I don't know, I always liked it. But
Yeah.
if you're going to eat a sweet pickle and you don't realize that it's a dill pickle, that'll ruin your life real fast.
I would say the same thing on the other side. If you think it's dill and it's sweet and it's
True.
just like a shock to the system, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Ooh, yeah, gourmet sweet pickles. I don't know if I've had any.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think about the bread and butter pickles, Justin? Do you like those?
No, I've never even ate those in my life. They look
Really?
disgusting. Never.
Dude, they're good.
I've not eat. They're like yellow.
Yeah.
They're weird to me.
Maybe.
In my family, it was always like, that's not a fucking pickle. So, like, I don't know. I've never even tried one.
Mimi colored them. We would have blue ones and red ones, and like we'd have different colored ones.
Cloves. Sweet pickle with cloves.
What? Mm-hmm.
I am very intrigued by that.
Where do I have to go to get that?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. That's
Speaking of
really,
traveling,
really
I'll travel to go get those
interesting.
pickles right now. Maybe not right now.
Yeah, if Justin says nope, no way, can't do it.
Okay.
No,
bread
it's
and
got to
butter.
be legit.
That's
I mean,
fine.
growing up on the East Coast, like
Dill or
pickles
nothing.
were serious. Like, especially at the diners and stuff, they would have pickles in the little jars, and like you didn't dare put a shit pickle in there.
Yeah, no.
Like there would be like riots. People would like picket your fucking place.
But
if it
that's
was
like
not good.
the good pickle realm. But outside of the good epic pickle realm, there's all these other really good things that are happening. I will say the thing that I think is weird. I had Filipino friends who love the pickled fruits. I don't like the pickled fruits.
You have never tried a pickled fruit.
I've had
That's so
pickled
strange.
mango and pickled plum, and you're fucking up my fruit, man. Like, it was good, and then you ruined it.
I don't even know what that would taste like. I'm trying to
it's-
imagine
It's weird.
what that would taste like.
It's a weird thing. The pickled mango was, it's interesting, but I would rather have a fresh mango.
Okay.
So-
Pickled asparagus. I've seen that.
I do like pickled
And
asparagus
I don't.
and green beans.
I don't know. I've never tried it. It looks squishy. It looks real squishy to me.
Oh,
Is
it's
it
good.
squishy?
No, there's not any squishier than when you cook
Well,
it.
you know, like okay, canned green beans versus like fresh green beans. There's a distinct difference. We never ate canned green beans because they were fucking mushy.
Yeah, it's like
so when I
rubbery.
make a a casserole or something, you know, you can use them or whatever. But you just like eat them, like you just eat canned green beans. Blech. So they look like that to me. Like the pickled asparagus looks like it's just gonna be like a squishy thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's good. I like it. They are really good in Bloody Marys. Oh man, I had a craving for a Bloody Mary the other morning. I really wanted one.
Oh, you had it in Jerome at the Spirit Room.
Yeah. Yeah, the pickled asparagus I like.
They're crunchy. Okay.
I guess it's like a pickle if you do it right.
Okay.
You know. It's gotta be done
I
right.
will try it the next time that is available for me to try. Based on this conversation, I will stop judging it on its squishy looking factor, and I will give it a go.
No, it's just like a
Like
pickle.
spicy, please.
It can be rubbery or it can be crunchy, depending on who made it, what they did with it.
Okay, that's fair. You know, spicy too. On those
Spicy.
Bloody Marys, you know, I mean, you guys, you know me, I'm not a drinker, but one beverage that I like, that I don't know why I like it because it's so weird, is a fucking Bloody Mary. Like, I don't drink tomato juice, and I don't tend to drink alcohol very often, much at all, but a Bloody Mary, a spicy fucking
Spicy
Bloody
ones.
Mary,
For sure.
is like so good. Oh, infamous hiking
Infamous
toasty.
hiking
Hello
toasty.
there, welcome.
Hello. We're just chatting about things.
Yeah. Oh man, Justin, have you heard about the crazy batshit bananas Bloody Marys where they put sandwiches and like whole chickens and shit on top of
Burgers.
them?
Yeah.
Because there's some places around here that we just heard about that is like over the top, dude.
Ankaka. I'm assuming there's two different meanings for that. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. But yeah, this one place does an entire roasted chicken. You have to call in advance, and they do like a whole rotisserie chicken on top. Sometimes they put bags of Skittles and shit and chips and like a whole bunch of crazy stuff on these Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing. Giant burgers,
They look
grilled cheese. There's a place
with
that
like
does
a
grilled
big
cheese.
crab like claw hanging out of it, and like grilled cheeses. There's one that's like an all breakfast thing, so it's like it's a pitcher that they make your Bloody Mary in, and then they stack all the stuff up on top of it. So there's one that's like all donuts and muffins and like whatever.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I want it.
Yeah, I
Super
really
bad. There's a couple places in the Seattle area that do in fact have this. So I would like to go on a journey sometime and actually try that. It'd be great.
Oh, we got a new follower. Hey.
Oh, thank you for following.
Matt Mears Park.
Oh, hello there.
Matt Mears Park.
Imagine not having no views. What do you mean?
I did not have a
That would be a bummer to not have views. So thank
I
you
got
for
views.
coming in and giving us more views.
Yeah.
We're a little low on our views at this present moment.
Yeah.
Usually we have a little bit of a higher average, but tonight's a weird night, I guess. So
Weird
thank
night.
you for coming in and checking us out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just so you new folks know, we are inspired by Mystery Podcast, and we talk about various different things. We're just shining light on mysterious things, and today we have been talking about traveling. So we've been talking about all the different cool things that we encounter while we travel, and you know, it's mysterious when you've never been somewhere before.
Today was a random episode. It was one of the interviews had to reschedule, so we had an open day.
Normally Wednesdays I do an interview, and we had to kind of switch that out. So we just thought we'd sit here and talk about some of our cool traveling. It got derailed to pickles, but it's okay
That's
because
right. We love pickles.
we were talking about Philly, and I got to tell you, Philly is super synonymous with pickles because it's my family legacy in the pickle department.
It's true.
They had
The pickle legacy.
they were the number one pickle in Philly, and it even expanded to different areas of the Northeast where people knew about Shoepack's pickles, Shoepack being my maiden name, for quite some time. Even to the point where me and my brother both have matching tattoos of the logo, the Pickle King logo. My brother has it on his arm, I have it on my ankle. And my brother was out here, he lives in Eugene, Oregon, and he was waiting tables at a restaurant, and somebody saw the tattoo on his arm, and they were like, "Why do you have that on your arm?" And he's like, "What kind of question is that?" He's like, "It's my family. My grandfather, you know, my great grandfather started it. My grandfather worked at this pickle company, and they were like, no fucking way. Like, we are from the East Coast, and we are like super into these pickles. Like, we haven't had them in a million years, and it was like famous. You know, it was like super famous. So that was really awesome that thousands of miles later, many years later, somebody still recognized that logo.
Yeah.
So
That's a good logo.
that's pretty awesome.
That's a little pickle with a crown on it. He's got a sword.
Yeah,
That's good.
and a shield with the S on it. It's great. The name derives from when shoes were not domesticated yet, and they traveled in wild packs. They were shoe packs.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
They were
That
all
is
shoe packs.
adorable. Actually,
Before we
the actual
domesticated
root of the name we found out, apparently back in the old days or whatever, they were fishermen. I had fishermen in my family, and chub, the chub, which I think is a funny fish name. Side note, anyway, but they were fishermen of a chub, so Chubbuck became their last name because they were known as these fishermen. And then when they came through Ellis Island, and they said, you know, what is your name, Chubbuck? It sounded like shoe pack, so they wrote down shoe pack, and that was the end of that.
Chubbuck shoe pack.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's nothing. Okay, you weren't listening, were you?
But I like Justin's idea better about the wild shoes.
That was before we domesticated shoes. Your name is like that too?
Really?
Mullinix? Where did Mullinix come from?
Yeah.
What was it originally? Let's see if we can guess. What was it originally? Probably. I guess what was the
Maybe an
location it
accent.
came from?
Oh yeah. He's from UK. Predominantly British people. Oh, you got a little French in there too? You got a little French up in there?
Milano.
It's French. Oh, you have French.
My name is Milano.
Shit.
It's French. It's French. Actually, in Greece, one of our phrases that popped up was, "It's okay, it's Greek," because you can kind of do whatever. When it came to driving, especially, I love driving in general, but I love doing it in other places around the world. It's always freaking weird, and you never really know what everybody's gonna be like. Like here, we go through driving classes and we learn rules, and there's signs that tell you do this and you follow this rule, and this is what the stripes mean, and you don't mess this up, and if you mess it up, you're gonna get a ticket, there's gonna be a fine, people are gonna be angry, and like you're gonna get honked at, all these things. Other countries, they don't really have that, and people don't really go through the same classes that we go through. So some people have just not really taken classes, and they don't really know what all the signs mean and lines and stuff, and nor do they care. Nobody really cares. It's just more of a feel it out and do what you feel like is okay. You know the general rules. This side of the road goes this direction. This sign means to stop. Generally, if there's cars, if there's no cars, then why would you stop? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But it's more
of
of
a free for all.
Yeah, it's more of like driving by feel, and I really like it. Actually, I feel like it's actually way better than here, because you can do whatever you have to do. Like if you need to get over, you just kind of start coming over, and like you can honk your way through whatever, and like everybody's like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, you got to do that. Like you're not breaking any kind of a rule to do that. Whereas here, everybody's like, yeah, you're supposed to do all these things. No. Like, especially in Greece, driving in Greece was so much fun. Because
oh my god, it's so, people just move out of the way if they see that you're wanting to go faster. They don't get irritated. They just move to the side of the lane, like half on the shoulder, and they just let you go around.
Dude, people
they
would just
want
drive
you to go around.
in the shoulder.
Yeah, they're like, I know I'm going a little slow. It's cool. Everybody just go around. It's fine.
If people were
They're
like
very
behind them and people needed to get by or like pass or whatever, they just drive in the shoulder, and the shoulders became another lane. Like the slow lane was the shoulder, and you just hang out over there. People do what they can to get by. The parking out there is super exciting, and I saw somebody parked between the fire hydrant on the corner and the light post, like on the corner. Their car just happened to fit, and they just wedged themselves in between it up on the sidewalk. And that was their parking spot, and I was like, yeah. It's okay. It's Greek. It's like, do whatever you want to do.
Oh man,
it doesn't matter.
Real quick, tell people about you driving in Ireland.
Oh man,
How ridiculous that was. I'll be
Ireland
right
was
back.
freaky. Okay. First of all, roundabouts for days. You got roundabouts for days in Ireland, and then being on the wrong side of the road, well, the wrong side, the left side of the road, was super interesting because, first of all, I've never driven on that side, so getting into the correct side of the car was always super difficult. But we were leaving the airport, and before we even got out of the airport parking lot, I hit a curb because your distances is off or off. You know, you don't really you're used to driving on this side and being over close to the stripe over here, not backwards. And I turned and I took a curb too sharp and I totally hit this curb, just nailed it. And our friend in the back seat is like, "Was that our hubcap?" After everybody got done screaming, "Was that our hubcap?" And I was like, "What? No, we didn't lose a hubcap." And we got to where we were going, and sure enough, yeah, we lost a hubcap. That was it, rolling away. But that was the only thing I hit the whole time. But those roads were so tiny, and like a lot of them are just like single lane. It's a two-way road, but it's a single lane, and there's short little walls and like shrubberies next to you that are like scrubbing your windows, like your side view mirrors. Like it's super narrow because they're used to like horse and buggies basically, and or that's what they were built for. And you're driving, and if somebody's coming, one of you just has to figure out who has to pull over first, like who has a pull out first. If not, you just have to back up until somebody gets to some place that they can pull over. But some of those roads are so small, like our car, I didn't really know if we were going to be doing that. But that was interesting. And yeah, every time we got up to the car coming back from whatever store or gas station or whatever, it was just like, who went to the wrong side of the car? Somebody went to the wrong side of the car. Like, I'm trying to get into the passenger seat with the keys and it's not working, and like many times. And then reaching for the seatbelt, we know where the seatbelts are. I'm driving, the seatbelt is over my left shoulder. You just grab, click. But there was so many times where I get in and now I'm sitting on the right hand side and I'd be reaching for seatbelt and there's nothing but air. I'm like, oh yeah, the seatbelt's over here now. You can move that. It's the weird little things you don't think about. Yeah, so that's driving in Ireland. Driving the RV through Iceland was a new one for me. We we did get stuck on a cliff in Greece, actually. We're going up, winding through these little tiny roads as well, and as we're going up, everybody in the little restaurants are coming out and just looking at us and like holding drinks, and it is a convertible top filled with rainbow people, so I understand. Like, we're in the boonies in like Greece, like nobody has ever seen anybody like us, so it's fine. But I realized that I think they were concerned because they knew where that road went and they knew that we weren't going to be able to make it. So it was all like a dirt road, and we're winding through this town, and the road starts going up, and it's like curving, and it's just like cliff face, like falling, and it's like going up, and all of a sudden it gets a little steeper and steeper, and being a dirt road, it reached a level of steepness that I couldn't go up anymore, where it's just peeling out, and it's like, but it's like this skinny road with a cliff next to me, and I'm like, I can't get up this. I don't know what to do right now, so I guess we have to back down. But once I get down there, there's no way to like turn around. Like, there's no room. I was like, well, we can't go forward. So I start backing up, and I just kind of like, I'm super slowly backing up. The whole car, everybody's like, oh my god, we're all gonna die. But I'm like, I got this. So we're backing up. We back up along this whole cliff face, and then we reach a point where there's a tiny little region where the road like curves, and where it curved, there was a little bitty like outlet just past the curve that I was pretty sure I could back into and turn around and like Austin Powers my way to where I'm going the correct direction through the town. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure we can do this. So I had everybody get out of the car. I was like, if I drive off of this cliff, like, the rest of you shouldn't die. So everybody get out. And I back up, and I literally had to Austin Powers myself on the, like, up against this cliff face on like a dirt, like, cleachy road. And we got it. That was good. We survived. And we turned back around and realized that we were going entirely the wrong way, and that Google Maps had lost us and sent us on a journey that we didn't know we were going on. But, you know, we did it. We survived. We lived. But, yeah, sometimes you almost die when you're on roads. But, yeah, that was scary. You know, you do what you gotta do. Our RV in Iceland actually just quit working while we were driving. I didn't know that, didn't know I was gonna have to deal with that. And I'm not a mechanic guy. I don't know what's going on with cars or anything. But we were driving on the way to that black sand beach, actually. The first attempt, we were on our way there, and we hit this hill, and we're going up a hill, and as I'm going up it, again, in the middle of nowhere, there's nothing, and the RV just shuts off. And I try turning it on again, it won't turn on. So I'm on a hill, so I'm like, well, I guess I'll just stick it in neutral and we'll back up. There's like one little house, like one little row of houses. So it's like, I guess we'll just back up and go back down. So I stuck it in neutral and we rolled down the hill against traffic, like over on the shoulder as much as I could, and like rolled down the hill and got to that little point, and the engine started up for a second. So I drove forward and got us onto this road, and then it cut out again, and I was like, okay, well, we're here, and there's like 3 houses that we can see, so if there's an emergency, I guess somebody might be able to help us, maybe, but I don't know what we're gonna do. We're trying to figure out, like, how do we get a hold of the rental company, and there was a phone number, so we're calling them, nobody's answering, it's after hours, so I'm like, I don't know what to do, plus we're far away from them, like, we're already hours away from them at this point. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. So we hung out and we're like discussing what we're gonna do, and I just try it again and it starts up and we're fine, it's good to go. And later on we found out that there's a safety feature in those RVs where when the wind gets too high and they wobble a little bit too far, it'll just shut the engine off, and which, because it thinks it tipped over basically, so it turns the engine off. And the winds were really high, but I didn't really think we were wobbling like that, but I guess it it triggered the little level thing. I think because we were on the road and we were kind of tilted, the wind probably blew and it just like reached its max. But it was really windy on that trip, and driving that RV through the wind was very scary. The back end is just like swimming around, and I was like, I don't want to get blown off a cliff, but
yeah, please no.
Yeah, I support not doing that.
That's not how I want to go.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes you do almost die on roads, and it's
but I gotta say, you are a really, really safe driver.
I try to be.
As far as the spectrum of safety goes, you're really good, and you're always calm, and you're very safe. I feel really safe when you are driving, which is great. Which is super good. So thank you for that.
Even when I'm taking off hubcaps.
We've only lost one hubcap.
Only lost one hubcap in all my journeys.
You know, there was 3 other ones that didn't fly off. I call that a win.
Yeah. We kept 3, basically, is how we're going to look at it. We kept 3 hubcaps.
We kept 3.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, man? I probably would have done the same fucking thing, man. That's toughy.
That was tough. That was weird.
That was.
We got it.
Yeah, it was within the first 60 seconds of pulling out of the parking lot.
We weren't even
maximum.
We weren't even out of the rental car region yet. We were leaving there. Okay.
That was good. That was pretty good. Oh man. Well, this is good. I think we've had some good, fun traveling stories today. It has been fun. I'm so glad you popped up.
Yeah.
Justin
Molyneux. Molyneux. And Whitney, thank you for hanging out with us this whole time.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to us.
I'm so glad. Yeah, we had to do a little bit of a different thing tonight, and we were trying to figure out what to do, and I think this was fun because we have so many fun stories that we like to tell. And Mondays we're doing weird news, and we can go off on tangents or whatever. And Wednesdays we do awesome interviews. Which, just a reminder, Justin, I think you might be interested in this. Somebody I went to school with that I've known since like middle school. She's a climate scientist, and she focuses on sea level rise. And next Wednesday we will be having her on. She will be sharing her findings and such on climate change and sea level rise. So that's going to be super interesting. No,
Yeah, Whitney, we're about to.
perfect timing. Yeah, we're gonna roll. But I'm very grateful that you were here. Thank you so much for being here with us, and we adore you.
And next Wednesday, come back and listen to climate change scientists talking about things.
That's gonna be super cool. It's gonna
cool.
be great.
Yep.
So thank you everybody for being here. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, also, Justin, I don't know if you heard or not, but we got new channel bit redemptions. See what you think about those.
Yep.
See if you have
And we made
feelings.
little icons for the subscribers. You see the little ghost?
Yeah, look at my little ghost on my name. That's fun. I'm subscribed
Totally
to
do
us.
it.
Yeah.
Dusty made
So
it today.
we're moving up. We're coming up in the Twitch world.
Yep.
Thought you'd be proud.
Yay.
Yeah.
Validate us, Twitch guru.
Yeah. Tell me we're doing good.
Yes. He's probably back to working.
Yeah, probably.
All right, everybody. Well,
But good
have a
night.
fantastic rest of your night, and we will see all of you again very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we will.
Good night. Cheers, everybody.
Good night to all.